Yeah, yeah, so that way I don't gotta keep getting up and down because I gotta do this in post demo where it's like I gotta, like, clip it, but then I gotta make sure that the audio and the face actually match up, and, sometimes that's a pain in the ass because like, I'm just like know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the old Godzilla movies, little
Yeah.
delayed,
Yeah, so I'm gonna turn down your mic just a bit. Go ahead, let me hear you say something.
checking,
Oh,
testing,
yeah.
1, 2, 2.
Yeah, you're chilling. Alright, cool. So,
Yeah, man.
most of the stuff is gonna get picked up by AI anyways, and then I'll obviously, like, I'll edit it out later, but, how you been, bro? How's everything been going with you?
Good, man, good. Busy, you know how it goes. A lot of
Yeah.
traveling, typical stuff. You switched jobs, you went was it ASI?
No, no,
AT
ATI. Yeah, I'm
ATI.
ATI now.
How's that?
I think it's
Not your
yeah,
personal info? My bad, I probably should have asked
no,
first
no,
or
no,
thought.
no, this a free space, like, we talk about everything on here. Little bit about the podcast. I've literally I've had all kinds of people on here talking about whatever. So this is
Yeah,
just
man.
like a place where we just kind of speak our thoughts. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So whatever
I'd
you would
probably be
ask me
better
in
at, like,
person
what
and
not to
stuff.
do.
What happened?
I said my advice would probably be better on things like of what not to do. That's probably my angle compared to other people's wisdom. I'll be like, "This is what you shouldn't do. Learn from my mistake."
I'm glad that you say that. So the name of the podcast is actually called the Me versus Me podcast, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
like you're not in competition with anybody but yourself. So it's usually like things like, how do you feel like you got in your own way? Like, what do you feel like you would basically say to somebody who is barely trying to get into the thing that you're
Yeah.
currently in that could save them a whole lot of like effort and time, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So I'm
Oh,
loving it. ATI is pretty chill. I'm still doing the training videos and stuff, but official project manager. And I didn't realize until I got there that it's a really big company. Like, it's a really big company.
yeah, I know I've heard of them. I don't know how big the presence is out here on the East Coast, but I've definitely heard of them through when I was adjusting and stuff for sure, like restoration-wise. But
Yeah,
yeah, you like
speak.
it more there so far? I mean, I know it's new, but
Yeah, definitely 100%. I mean, obviously, like the environment's like, a little bit more like professional, but it's okay because I like it. It's just I like structure. The ADHD in me like really
yeah.
appreciate like stability and stuff like that.
Yeah. Guidelines to follow are super important. Yeah. For
Yeah.
scatterbrains like ours. It's, when you don't have them, you try to create them. And then speaking of getting in your own way, and then you're like, "Well, maybe if there was a better system in place, I wouldn't have done this." But, with our brains, you take the accountability first. It's like, I'll own that I probably shouldn't have did this or did this. I was just assuming, should have asked, but you don't wanna ask because you don't wanna seem like a bother. Yeah, dude, structure is so good. It's like, especially with the world you're in where restoration, fires, all that stuff. Like, you need, like, a good chain of command and a good system in place so that if one thing goes wrong, it can be, like, significant towards if the estimate goes bad and you give a bad number or whatever, then you know how that is on the project managing side to where it's like the domino effect goes all the way down to the boots on the ground and the subs doing the repairs. So it's like, yeah, structure is good. And there's Paul Davis is a really good man, but it's like, I mean, it's really the owner, like it's really your leadership directly with that office will affect a lot. So I'm not shocked when ownership changes that obviously some follow, whether they want to or not. It's just it's a tough industry, man.
Dude, so
Tough
I
to stay
was
ahead.
100% shocked when it happened because when I was on vacation. I was like visiting my brother in Texas or something. And when I came back, they were like, "Yo, we got some big news to announce." And that's what kind of made me be like, "All
Boy,
right,
do we.
yeah." So like, I think like all of us thought we were either gonna get like a raise or some sort of promotion or something because we worked really hard, but only to find that they had changed ownership and just like it is what it is. Like your progress goes out the door. I know they probably like mean for it to sit well, but like you're there, you're understanding what this means for you, and you're just like, "Oh, fuck." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because
You
you don't
know?
know what's coming. You're like, "Oh, this is news that's also gonna, like, cause a lot of chain reaction news." Like, "Okay." new ownership. Okay, now what? Okay, new what? New GM2. Are we getting new cars? Are we switching business? Are they selling? Like it's yeah, it's that
Like
yeah.
like, I
That'll
think the biggest one was, like, are they gonna scrap the company and just, like, sell it out for parts and stuff? Like, that's kinda what it feels like in those moments, even though leadership comes in, and they didn't do that, but I still needed to go get mines, and that's where I kinda transitioned to the whole ATI thing.
yeah, man. Did you go to them or they kinda seek you and then you just took the just kinda went through with the opportunity?
No, no, no. I went them because I was ready to step up. So after kind of just me sitting like in that coordinating position for so long, knowing
Yeah,
that I
man.
was capable of more, you just kind of start to feel like,
When you were doing more, you just didn't get the title of it either. You were doing more than
uh,
your, job description. It's just the title didn't come with it, just some responsibility, which which is not fun, but it's still nice to have that exposure. So, you know.
yeah.
Are you writing and running now?
No, but I do have access to Xactimate, right? So like I
Yeah.
get to use the softwares that they have, which like obviously you know more than I do, but like
No,
Xactimate's
man.
like a very big
It's
step in that.
harder dude, it's harder to run a job than it is to use the numbers. Speaking of systems, like, well, you know how all the macros and shit work in Xactimate. It's like, once you get it down, kinda like you you're normally doing, like, the same 5 similar type of scopes. It's just, the details per room might change, which is kinda easy. What's not hard is following that up and making that shit come back to life. And especially if they're not going back with like, when I write an estimate, whatever is gone goes back. That is not your case probably 75% of the time. Sometimes they're like, "Well, if we're just redoing this anyways, I might as well want new counters or new cabinets or new paint, whatever." And then it's on, you to get that shit in place, the right subs. If they have plank flooring, all of a sudden they want tile, you can't get your flooring guy, your normal flooring guy. You might have to get your tile guy to come in. So it's a lot different with, and the deadline's the same. Doesn't matter what the estimate shows or whatever, or the insurance company wants. Like the deadline's the same as long as you want paid right and fast. You gotta get that job done when they're back in, when their insurance is running out, if they're out of the house or whatever. Like you got a certain time frame you gotta crunch. Sucks, man. It's fun though, it's rewarding. It's more rewarding than a good estimate. Like when you see
Which
a job come
you
to life, that's way more rewarding, dude. And you got somebody there to congratulate you too, as far as whoever the homeowner is or the owner of the building, whatever it is. If it's a company, there's someone there that's like, "Hey man, thanks for your help with this. This coulda went really sucky." So, kudos,
so
man. Not easy.
so I actually did prepare a couple questions for you and stuff. Like I said, I'm just trying to be as professional as I can be.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would like to have like an office and stuff where I bring people to, but as of
Yeah, you
now,
gotta
I'm
start
just kind
somewhere.
of playing by the rules. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
question one,
Mhm.
let's get into it.
Let's do it.
What officially got you into estimating?
Yeah, when I was in it, so I'm in sales now. I don't know if I told you, but, it's more of the infrastructure side as far as, like, hospitals and, like, the markets, hospitals, schools, bases, military bases, VA, stuff like that. But, similar, I'm not out of the industry, it's just, like, a different market in it. But, dude, I do miss estimating, I miss adjusting, just the people, like, I still talk to people, I still see people. It's just now I'm trying to convince them on what's beneficial and instead of what I was doing, like meeting people during like usually a shitty experience, like, claims. Like it's a loss, right? Like it's
That
called
part.
a loss for a reason. Like you're meeting them, usually it's their first claim, whatever. But yeah, man, so I was into that, chasing storms and I got sick of that rodeo. Uh was married, got divorced, like real quick marriage. And then I think a lot of that stuff, not to blame a job or whatever, but dude, when you're just out running, it just creates a lot of questions and a lot of animosities, and if you don't focus
That
on what you
friction
resist
is
dude, yeah,
friction.
or just, like, you're if you're there every day, even if you travel a little bit, like, all those touches, all those embraces and stuff solve a lot of problems. Like, when you have problems and then you gotta split or go somewhere, you're gone for months or whatever, dude, the problems just kinda compound on each other, and a lot of that wouldn't happen, I don't think, regardless, um, yeah, so I was chasing storms. I loved it. Like, it's not fun when you're in it, but afterwards, it's like, damn, you got a lot done. You saw a lot of people, and usually, as far as hurricanes, those are really shitty experiences. So it's like I learned to just bring cases of water and stuff because it's just something for someone. And but yeah, man, doing that, you know how that goes, inspecting, then writing estimates, and then uh, COVID hit, obviously changed a little bit. Started working for Paul Davis corporate, and then I just felt like my role was essentially reviewing estimates and then telling owners like or estimators, project managers, whoever's writing them, oh, this is what could probably get approved by the insurance company. This is what you need more, whether it's documentation, whatever, to get approved. Or here's some alternate line items. So you know how that goes. Like it's a little game. It's just a game. They're playing it just like we are. And so you gotta have the support for it, whatever. But I just felt like being behind a desk kind of like not able to help. I was trying. I was getting myself in trouble going around some leadership to try to help owners and give tips and give cheat sheets out and all that, and I think I ruffled some feathers with some insurance companies, obviously, because 'cause they're on contract, so it's like, I understand the leadership's perspective of Paul Davis at corporate, but I just felt like, "We work for Paul Davis, I don't really work for these insurance companies. If these owners have questions, I'm gonna tell them from an adjuster's perspective, that's the person that's getting the estimate on what you need." And it was, like, pissing those adjusters off, so when we'd have these meetings, I'm in these meetings with, like, Allstate and, like, American Family, whomever, and, mostly Allstate, ironically. There's just a lot of just a big market. They just own a lot of share. But, and that was Paul Davis's biggest as far as, like, their direct work client. Anyways, man, like, they would be in another adjuster, and at that point, if we're like me and you now, if we're just on screen chatting, I'm gonna say, "Okay, well, I'm gonna use the same license I have that he has and see exactly why he's coming up to that determination if we're looking at the same evidence." I'm like, "Okay, well, if this is here and this is here and this documentation's here, then what do you mean?" "Well, we just don't approve of that," or whatever. "We don't do 3 coats of paint," or whatever,
Yes, it's
yada,
not
yada.
within our guidelines.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, it's really a." My argument most time was like, that's a preference thing. That's not exactly how it's gonna be done, or how you determine the costs. Like, if you have a trim guy up there in Santa Clarita, and he's been doing it for 30 years, excellent, like, just an excellent carpenter, and we hire, out here in Virginia, a 22-year-old that just got into it to do a job. According to insurance companies, they make the same money. They get paid the same exact rate. So that was what would really bother me is like, you guys already kinda are holding these offices, these owners, like, up to a fire that's hard to accomplish based on, like, margins and their profit. Like, they still gotta run a business, and you want them to continue running a business so you can get these claims handled. And, but at the same time, it's like, if they have really professional guys do good work, you're paying them the same rate as Joe Schmo's shitty Maryland office that gets bad reviews, poor work quality, all that stuff. So, I would always just caveat that. I'm like, "Well, this is a preference thing. If we want this to be like, pre-loss condition, the trigger words or indemnify, whatever, then do you think you're providing that for your insured that paid for the insure all that?" Anyways, that would ruffle feathers, like, if I start talking like an adjuster, then they would say, "You're not an adjuster anymore, blah, blah." I'm like, "No, I'm not, but I understand what you need, and I'm just curious why that you have the information that you need that you asked for. You're still pushing back when this is all we're waiting on to be, you know, all to go all go." Anyways, ruffled feathers.
Yeah, like you said, it's a game, and understanding like how it's played is definitely going to get you farther. But also understanding how the other person, like let's say the adjuster, should be playing it on their end, and them choosing not to, really lets you know who you're dealing with, right? Like if you get like, because like let's be honest, there are
That's
such
what I'm
thing
saying.
as good adjusters, bad adjusters, but the bad adjusters really just make the process a lot more difficult for everybody. Us being the contractor, you being the estimator in that
Yeah,
situation,
yeah.
right? The insured, right? And ultimately, sometimes they got ALE and stuff, so it just prolongs the process because they want to play high and mighty, or just throw a wrench in the game.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, and I think they don't say it, but it's like, they know if they wait it out, a lot of people will lose their patience and just take what's given.
That part.
They are aware of that. So, they will play that game like, "Okay, well, we'll review it. Send us the photos, send us more documentation, whatever, we'll review it." And then for months on end, you're still trying to get an answer based on you gave them what they asked for, but you're not getting what you're the whole reason you sent the information for, like, what you asked for prior to that. Like, I had a need, you said you needed this, so I provided that to you. I still have the same need from before. Where is now? And they understand, like, yeah, if I keep waiting it out, maybe that homeowner will just cash that check and then we're all screwed because they basically agreed to terms. So it's a game. They're playing it too. Like it's their, you just have to know the game. And it didn't feel like that when I was working at corporate, but it felt like, you kind of got to do what you're told. I'm like, but if these owners are asking questions and want me to help, like I'm not going to get a bad review from the owner that also works for the same company that I do. I feel like it's more my job to help them through it than it is to like say, hey, sorry, you're just shit out of luck. So, anyways, and that's just a personality thing. Like, that's it's like you. It's like, I could just do my job and I could piss a lot of people off and not care. Or we could, with our personalities, we can't shut that off. I can't shut that. Dude, when they told me to chase storms, and I'll get back to your question about getting into estimating. Um, when you first like get into this stuff, like whether it's with like just inspections or restoration, when you're like those first responders, not obviously EMTs, nurses, that stuff, not even remotely close. Towards like property damage, your first responders after storms, they tell you don't get your heart involved, don't get your feelings involved, yada yada. But then I go to Louisiana, I see a house like split in half from a tree, or like half the house is blown off from a tornado in like Indiana or Kentucky, or there's just a slab there, like in Mexico City, Florida. Like it's like, how do you not, you know? And you still meet with these people, and there's some people are like at acceptance to where they're like, yeah, this is just the shit that happens. I get it. It sucks. And there's some people that are like, this is the first time I've ever been through this. I have no idea I don't even know who to call. Like you're basically the first person I've seen since all this shit happened. I have no idea what to do. And it's hard to not shut off. Like, hey, I'm just the guy that's taking photos for your insurance company. Call them. See you later. Can't do that. Like our personality types won't allow that to where if someone's genuine and needing help with something, I'm not gonna. Somebody like, yeah, I haven't had water in 3 days, and I have a whole cooler full of water bottles and Gatorades in my truck that I know are for me on these hot days to inspect. I'm not gonna. It sucks, man. I mean, whenever your insurance company sends you your food allowance check, first place I'd go is get water. Like I'm not. I'll just give them some. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, you
they
look
try
out
to
for
make
'em.
you like cold in that industry. Like they try to make it,
Yeah.
so that you don't interrupt what you're told to do. Like they don't want the pushback for you to figure it out that it's a game. They just want
I
you to
I
think
I
everyone
I
else
feel like
is.
it's a bit of a responsibility that you have towards the insured, the clients, right? But,
Yeah, man.
one interesting perspective on that is, like, the insurance is also the client, so you're kind of, like, in the middle. It
Oh
almost
yeah.
feels like a general contractor, dealing with subs, and you got 2 subs who aren't getting along, and you're basically trying to make sure that, like, everything works out so that way you can, move the process forward and stuff. But, like,
Yeah, man.
sometimes you got, like, difficult
Relationship
adjusters, you also
manager.
have difficult clients, you know what I mean? Like, customers who they know the game, they
Oh
know
yeah.
what they want out of the game, they know what they're trying to get out of you for it, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
willing
No, there's
to
that too for
drag you
sure.
through the mud, like, it's a terrible feeling, but you still gotta look
Oh
out
yeah.
for them, right?
For sure. Yeah, there's that other side of the coin where it's like you either get repeat offenders or you got people that know about it that have been waiting, um, whatever. But that's easy to catch on to too. You can usually see that like on the like whether it's first impression or first couple impressions. You're like, oh, you know how this is going, and now you're trying to take a bit. That's at any rate, like it's you got to manage a relationship between your office, who you work for, and the insurance company. If you burn that bridge, there's work there. Like you're affecting now your own food and everyone else in the office. The relationship between that insurance company and their insured, because you don't want to say some bad stuff. The insured goes off script and totally bashes them to them. It's like, well, they told me you guys suck anyways. You're not gonna do this, not gonna do this. And it's like, well, now this might
Oh,
go to another office.
yeah.
Yeah, like, or you say,
I didn't
or
say
the
that, I didn't
yeah, or whatever. The homeowner will tell you,
I
well,
didn't say it like that.
Richie came in and said this is gonna be paid for. He said you're gonna upgrade my counters,
You said
and
these
they're like,
guys
we don't
suck.
do yeah, anything. And it's like it's relationship management. That's so funny caveat. Yeah, so I try to pivot into just once I left corporate Paul Davis, I worked for a local office, and then that guy's goal, uh, just to piggyback off what you said earlier, was to flip that office. Like he wanted to generate like a profitable office and sell it. Like that was kind of, and I don't think he understood the journey was a lot harder than like the result. So the journey was killing him. And and so I had to I didn't last long there. I didn't want to last long there. Like I didn't ruffle feathers. I was just like I was a GM at a local office that was a year old and they weren't performing well and they kept getting like we kept getting like in trouble from corporate and suspended. I'm like, dude, if we keep getting suspended, like we're gonna be like blacklisted from all the insurance companies around here. And it was getting to that point. But before we even got to there, he's telling us he's paying some of the subs because we didn't have the authority, me and the other GM, to like write checks or whatever. It was kind of just like, well, we gotta wait for the owner, even though he lives in DC 3 hours away. And it was just a bunch of uphill battles. And we got subs coming like, we haven't been paid in 2 months. What's going on? We're like, what do you mean you ain't been paid in 2 months? Like, hey, hold on. Like, he told us you paid. Let's see. We call. He's like, oh, let me see. Oh, looks like I may have forgot that payment. Yada yada. And then he starts negotiating with a sub who hasn't been paid, who's still doing work for us. So now we're starting to get blacklisted by subs because he's telling the subs like, hey, you owe me $2,500. I'll give you 13 right now. That's it. Or you're not getting anything. It's like we're trying to manage that relationship, and it's like we're the boots on the ground here. That sucks. So leadership's important, but dude, managing relationships. So, anyways, I wanted to get an estimating to help other offices, kind of like what I was doing at corporate with Paul Davis, but like without the handcuffs.
Now,
So,
so I do have a question for you,
yeah,
kind of
man.
veering off this topic a little bit, but like, I wanted to
What are you
understand.
looking for?
So, what you're doing now is different than the estimating, right? You said you're in sales. So,
Dude, yeah,
what is the product or what it is the service that you're providing for people?
yeah, yeah, man. It's a company called Tremco. It's like they started off in like it's commercial roofing, but it's not really like commercial. It's like a step above. It's like Ford Field, like their roof was done with our product, and
Forfield? What is that?
Nationwide Arena, like Detroit, like the Lions. So like it's that kind of market, but it's just like kind of the cream of the crop. It's expensive, man. It's like not cheap. So it's a harder sell when it comes to that, but it's more so like they have such an integrity in the game already and such a presence. There's only a couple competitors, and then you just got to really convince whoever you're talking to, if it's a hospital director or a school superintendent for a city, like why you want it to be you. Like regardless of what I'm selling, like a lot of these products, are similar. Like I can give you a reason on why some of ours are better, but it's roofing and facade. Kind of envelope of the building is what we sell, but mostly roofing. But like not even commercial. Like it's like hospital infrastructure. Like I said, bases, coating, stuff like that. Just mostly roofing. That's obviously when people have leaks. That's what they're concerned about. If it's ever facade or sealing things or stuff like that, we do that too. Or sealing or parking garages. Like usually, if they need that, then they're in some real issues. But yeah,
Now,
man, it's a
so
big company, like $9 billion. It's the same company that owns them. Tremco is who I work for. They own like Rust-Oleum, Caulk, like anything waterproofing, man. It's pretty much they own like the umbrella company.
what do you feel like is what do you feel like since you've been at this company, what is a like a expectation that you feel like is unrealistic with some of the the clients that you guys get sometimes that you kind of wish initially you could already set the record straight on, but like it just kind of depends on context, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm
man.
making sense.
No, I follow you. I follow you. It's yeah, there's not so many client expectations. They just want their problem solved, just like any other any industry. I mean, anywhere. Like if you can be the point of contact to help solve problems, like you're gonna
You're the
accrue a
guy.
lot of good relationships, man. Yeah, like it's like, and if I don't have the answer, like also being honest about that, like I might not be able to solve your problem, but I can get to someone who can. Like, so if you want to continue just working with me, we can find whomever can solve this, and I'll make sure to like be the effort in that. So if you don't have the answer, finding it also means you have the answer. So in the legwork to do it, you're solving whoever your client, because they'd still be searching. If you can't solve it, they're going to be searching. So why don't you just let me search, and then you're kind of like the pseudo consultant for all that. But the expectations normally come from like the companies themselves, like especially when you're working for like a company on the market, like a publicly traded company. They have quarterly expectations. You obviously quarterly reports, right? So it's like when that leadership comes down, the communication issues I've already seen. I've been here for a year. There's big communication issues with what we're able to do in our local market, the like senior reps and stuff that I'm under, and then what corporate expects. Like sometimes super unrealistic. It's like they're if they want, you'd have like 5 bids out a week or whatever, which is kind of what they want. It's like I'm literally just trying to get like phone calls back and invited in the door again, let alone get some PO signed and bids on like important projects. Because if unless you're a really, really, really excellent salesman, which I'm sure there are plenty out there, someone's not going to trust you with a huge problem unless you solve a small one. So you kind of have to like build a rapport, like anywhere. Unlike like if with Paul Davis, like they had the reputation already with solving big problems. It's like, oh, you guys do this nationally. I see your commercial on the Super Bowl. Okay, yeah, I have this big issue. I'm trusting Paul Davis, like regardless of who my local office is. So we can kind of use that sometimes, like, oh yeah, you probably heard of Trumco, yada yada. But it's really with this stuff, it's like if they had a shitty rep, then they don't want to use. Like, they're going to reject Trumco regardless. So you got to convince them to use you. But the expectation normally comes from the corporate side. It's just like it's a snowball more than it is just like, yeah, go hit a home run. So especially for newer guys like me, and I don't want to say I'm newer to sales or whatever. Like I feel like I've been selling a lot of services for a long time and problem solving
Yeah,
stuff in the
just
construction world.
repurposed. You just you're not
Yeah,
new to the game. You're just like a piece that was repurposed to work over here now.
exactly. And I still, because I'm not a contractor. I'm not with a contractor. We're the manufacturer. So I still am with contractors all the time. And I've already helped some contractors identify things. And I'm like, that's kind of tied in. You might want to include that in your bid. Like, not that I want it to go up and their budget to get a little hit more, but how are you going to tie this in without affecting? And that comes from the restoration experience, the adjusting experience, and stuff like that. So, but it's more of a corporate world here with like, obviously it's sales and it's a lot of legwork. It's not like normal sales as I would think. Like a couple of my buddies have roofing companies. Like I can knock on a door. We're doing the roof next door. If it's loud, I just want to let you know. That's why if there's any issues, here's my card. Call me. Also, you might have some damage on your roof if you want me to look.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
solid move right there.
yeah, I mean, and that's everybody's game. Like I didn't teach that, right? I just found that out, from meeting contractors and doing estimates for some, all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, you even if they don't know that problem, if you identify one and they don't know it, then you're solving the same thing, even if they're not aware of it. But um, yeah, there's unrealistic, even I mean, insurance companies too. They have unrealistic expectations all the time.
Absolutely. I know that,
So it's like,
anytime I've had a, every time that I've had like an adjuster or any type of insurance company involved in one of the jobs, they scrutinize the littlest details that are basically common sense in the field, and you're like, "Really, bro?" Like, but they just require justification because the way I see it is like if they're gonna close their book on like whatever line item, they need to have the justification to kinda cover their ends, and that's all they care about, that
oh
CYA,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
for
But,
sure.
let's move forward with the questions because I got a lot
Yeah,
for
man, let's
you,
go.
and, it's like it doesn't gotta
We don't have to do
only be
work shit either. We
professional.
can do more fun shit, I guess. Like whatever. That's
Yeah, yeah.
uh construction related. Whatever you want to go to.
Yeah, so basically what I was gonna say is like, from my perspective, anytime I'm talking about construction, like, all I know is, like, I just can talk about it for hours and stuff, and,
Yeah. It can be boring to some people though. Me too.
yeah,
Dude, me too, yeah. It's like
but
I try to relate it to life, like managing relationships with obviously what we were talking about. It's like you can take some of that skill set that you learn in work and like apply it at home and you realize how, stuff could have been a little bit more successful if some things did fail, some areas did fail. Communication is big everywhere, obviously. Like you gotta be able to talk and the ego's gotta be able to be sat down. That's something I struggle with every now and then too, still. Just I
w
think that's one of those things you gotta remind yourself a lot is like your ego can get in the way even when you don't realize it. Like sometimes not addressing things is your ego getting in the way.
yeah.
So,
Is that? Oh, wow.
you know what
Can
I
you
mean? Like
expand on that a little bit more?
sure, man. Like if you know there's an issue and you just kind of hope time will solve it. Like it's kind of like your ego getting in the way. Like if you not what because it might involve some self-reflecting. That's just something that we all kind of struggle. It's fun. Self-reflecting's fun when it's like, oh, I have all these goals and
I Got these good
I want to figure out my
qualities.
purpose, all that. Self-reflecting is not fun when you figure out areas of your life where you need to hold yourself accountable and fix so that you don't run into the same problem again. So, like, for me,
Oh, like purposely seeing like
like self-reflection is
actually,
not just like the motivational parts, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like,
but like
you know,
knowing
you
there's
need to
a
go to the gym more.
knowing there's a problem and needing to correct it, but choosing not to say anything because you just kind of don't want to cause a disturbance, even though you know you should proactively be like saying something, right?
Dude, and sometimes if you know that the problem, even if it's say it's with somebody, say you're dating someone and they have an issue and it's usually it's and if the issue is because of something that you cause that you know is like either a bad habit or something that you just need to fix, something that's just not working between you and them. Like that's relationship managing. And you know if you address it to fix it, then the mirror comes, whether it's from your self-reflection or them saying, "Okay, well, what can you change next time?" And then you immediately know. It's like, "Well, to avoid that, to avoid having to fix whatever that is, we'll just hope this passes and I'll address it whenever I can get to it." Like, it doesn't feel
Yeah,
like that's your ego getting involved, but in reality, it's your ego not wanting to identify exactly what's going on now and you just brushing it off, but it's still, you know, it's still an issue. So it's like, people talk about growth and self-reflecting and like trying to find your purpose, all that stuff. And it's like sometimes like it takes you to kill the person you are to become that purposeful person you want to be. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to like sacrifice that because it's scary. I mean, there's fear involved, whatever. But when you bleed that into relationships on people that like didn't cut you, then like it's like, yeah, I know I have this issue. Uh, whatever the case is, like I know where I want to be and I can't bring this person with me if I want to get there. So uh I know that some of these habits and some of these things that I do now, whether they're enjoyable or not, it's not conducive to who I want to be and where I want to be. I'm not ready to face it yet, but I'm creating issues currently now in the relationship I'm in because I've made those promises, whether it's to myself or them or both,
that part. Yeah,
that
you identified.
oh, yeah, but then the ego gets involved and you're like, well, we'll just you know, we'll wait and see if time will like let this get buried before it comes up again.
Yeah,
So it's
I've had a couple
that part
issues with stuff like that in my experience, and I think that one of the biggest hardest like the biggest challenges for me was being like, "You know what? Like, it's not my place to say anything, but sometimes it is your place to say something." And if
dude.
you've ever heard of Groundhog Day?
Yeah, yeah,
You're doomed to repeat the same lessons until until you learn what you're supposed to from that moment. And
yeah,
my aunt used to say it to me all the time. Never really thought about it, but like, let's say if I'm being too silent when on the job, and then people are kind of like pushy, so they like push you around and stuff. But you're thinking, you know what? Like, I just don't want to rock the boat at all. And then eventually, you're just gonna keep repeating those moments until you finally do figure out to speak up for yourself. And then you're like,
yeah.
"Oh shit, I could have did this the whole time. Why does it feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders
It's
and I
it's
can
so funny
continue
how
on?"
often it's so funny. I'm gonna cut you off, Richie. It's so funny how often a lot of those times when you do finally like get to that point, because when usually if I see conflict or whatever, like, and this is my big issue is I will shut down. Like it feels like I have to sit on it and like in what I used to think it was like wisdom was okay, if I just don't react, then I won't make this problem worse, which is I don't want to be an escalator. I don't want to add fuel to fire. But then I will like at the same time, okay, I didn't react. So you didn't like totally get your emotions involved. If something blows up, whether it's work, relationship, family, friends, anything, and you're like, hey, let me just be silent and be still, let the storm go away, and then I'll identify the issue before I'm speaking from anger or hurt or whatever. But but that's part of that is that whole process is okay, I didn't react because I wanted to develop a wise response. Okay, well, you didn't react. Now you still, based on that wisdom speaking, okay, well, you still have to develop a wise response if you're going to get through this issue. It's that journey from not reacting to finally putting my input in or being accountable or whatever, apologizing, whatever it is. It's that the goal still doesn't come to fruition because I was like, "Oh, well, I'll just not respond. I'll just wait on it, sit on it, and then be smart about it." And it's like, "Well, you're sitting on it. You're
I'd like
sitting on it.
I'd like to
You're
add
sitting
something.
on it." Like, the wisdom is still the whole process. Like, the finish line is, okay, well, you have to identify the issue, and you didn't react during the moment so that you didn't compound the issue with other issues because you said some things you didn't mean, or you're just off the cuff, didn't hit a filter, whatever, or you're, "Oh, you hurt me, let me hurt you back," stuff like that. And, but you don't. It's just like, "Okay, well, now I just don't wanna say anything because I don't wanna ruffle the feathers," but you still have it in you, or they still have it in them, whoever it is you're having this problem with,
Yeah.
and it's like, the wise thing is to do is not react because you wanna have a wise response. Okay, well, you still need the wise response or you're gonna see that situation again, and then it's not wise to keep having this situation. You can still have, a non-reactive type personality, which is me, and, but then you can also
I could be the same way.
shut down. Dude, yeah, so, I did it with, your office there, not to bring it back to work, but, with Kush was like,
You're
"Yeah,
good,
well,
brother,
I
you're
ju I
good.
just paid you a lot of money on this." "Dude, you didn't pay me for 8 weeks." Like, "Yeah, it seems like a lot of money because it was 8 weeks."
Yeah.
And, I was like, "But when we talked, I gave you a deal to help because you needed help." Like, this was already a deal on your end, like, it's not a deal for me still. And then immediately, he's like, "Well, and that estimate took, you should have done by Friday," whatever. It was like a $500,000 estimate, 350 whatever $1,000 nice house. Stupid nice house. It's like a what do they own, like a detail shop or something like that? Some
Yeah,
this would have been
it was something like that. It was
2024,
like
dude. Yeah,
carpentry or something.
or 2025. Yeah, they own some nice car type deal, right? Mechanics, whatever it was. Dude, they made good money. They had a nice house. And, with that came like a pretty difficult estimate, whatever, that, he told me on Friday he wanted it done by Friday. I'm like, "Dude, if I throw this by Friday, then we'll be revising it, like, in an hour. Like, it's gonna get kicked back immediately." So, regardless, I sent it Monday, and that just pissed him off, but he told me, he's like, "Well, I'm already interviewing somebody today for the estimating position." I'm like, "Dude."
That's cold. That's cold.
Yeah, I'm like, "Hold on." Like, I was just and all the shit I was going through, I was like, I just was going through a move with girl I was with, all kinds of stuff. I feel like I've, like, been super flexible and taking a lot of hits here, like, whether it's not being paid for 2 months or not being around when I should be around my house-wise, and, and I'm still and now you're shopping? Like, what? What? And I don't know if it was trying to, like, to get my attention to, like, be more proactive in what he wanted, but I didn't receive it that way. I received it as like, "Oh, well, that's then that's that for me." Like, if I feel like I've taken bitten a lot of bullets for you already. And Chris is a super nice dude, I liked him a lot, but that was, like, a super off-putting and then I immediately got a message, like, the next day from what's his name? Can't remember his name. Bald guy. Dude, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. He's like, "Hey, are you
Yeah.
gonna have this done by today, or are you not doing anything?" It was, like, a weird message like that, and I'm like, "Are we joking right now?"
Yeah, it's kinda
Like,
passive aggressive.
dude, yeah, and it just didn't feel like, and I was like, I've pushed out a ton of estimates. I'm like, everybody's behind. Like, all of us were overwhelmed, but I felt like, why am I the one getting, like, the snippy well, and I remember talking to you and David's like, "Just don't go anywhere, man. We just don't want it to be
Yeah.
like what it was before, yada, yada," and I was like, "Dude, if Kush just told me he's interviewing somebody today and he's shopping for estimators, I'm just gonna allow him to, like, see if the grass is greener because that's it really took me off. So I'm like, "I don't need the job." I was really trying to help to develop a network for a lot, but I would have hopped on board. I mean, that's kinda what Kush wanted. He's like, "Eventually, like, we want you to be, like, full-time fly here for the events and all that stuff." I was like, "That'd be actually be cool. I wouldn't mind being a part of that at all. Like, I can make that work as long as the numbers work, and things get better." Anyways, it just rubbed me the wrong way, but I didn't have to respond the way I did. I should have just went MIA. Like, I knew it in the moment. I'm like, "You should probably
Yeah.
communicate still." And I was like, "No, I've the bridge is probably burned. I'm just gonna leave it." But it just that still sits uncomfortable with me. I'm like, even though the reason I went silent wasn't necessarily from my own doing, I didn't need to respond that way because then if I did try to actually, you know, that's not reacting right, but it is reacting in a way. It's just reacting without a response. I could have probably been cussing Kush or whatever, but if it were honest, he probably would have appreciated that more than just nothing. I was like, "Hey, well, if you're shopping, if you're gonna interview this guy, then I'm gonna leave now. Screw
I
you."
I don't know.
That could have probably caused more problems than dipping out, you know what I mean?
I feel like in a situation like that, you might just be adding more ammunition to their bucket, which isn't necessarily like it's just one
Oh, yeah.
perspective, right? But in a
Oh,
situation
yeah.
like that, bro, I think you made your decisions, and although, on the way out, you feel like you coulda did some things differently, I still feel like there's a reason why, and you gotta trust yourself in those moments, because I know there's a lot of times where
Yeah.
I forget why I did certain things, and somebody will come back to me, like, kinda trying to change the narrative. They're like, "Oh, you said this, you said that." And in my head, I'm like, "Yo, if I know myself, I'm like, if I said that, if I did that, there's probably a reason why I said or did that, right? Like, I'm not just
Yeah.
the type of person who's like, I'm volatile and like I just react to shit. Like, so,
Exactly.
they'll come back later on and I'll just be like, what a red flag for you to try to present it to me this way, knowing that at that time, like, I would have responded that way. How come you didn't
Yeah.
tell me this then? Or even then, right? It's like, even if I make a mistake, I'm very quick to apologize. I'm very quick to be like, "You know
For
what?
sure. Yeah.
I don't think I was saying the right words. I don't think I was in my right mind. I apologize," like, or I'm sorry, like, heartfelt, like,
Yeah,
I
and
know
I
it was
wouldn't have
utterly
minded
wrong.
that 'cause I also talk a lot, you could tell. So it's not like I just shut down in the moment. I literally said something along the lines, I'm like, "Hey, well, if you're shopping, like, I'll then what's the expectations for me then?" Like, I also don't wanna feel like I'm investing and now all of a sudden you're a step out. And,
Obviously, when I yeah,
I
I was
just
gonna
think
s
he was under a lot of pressure and heat and a lot of shit was going on. Clearly, a lot of shit was going on more than even we were probably put onto.
look,
So I just felt like there was a lot of frustration getting, like, overblown,
yeah.
but yeah, simple, like, "Look, I was trying to light a fire under your ass, blah, blah, like, we want you yada, yada." What you don't want is, like, if you're giving 40, 50, 60 hours to a company, is to them all of a sudden think like, "Alright, well, our investment would be better somewhere else." And it's like, "Okay, well, then so is mine."
Look,
Like,
bro,
so, okay, if you feel like it's,
Imma
it's
break it
better
down
off,
real
then
quick.
maybe.
Imma break it down real quick for you. I
Yeah.
wouldn't go that deep into the weeds on it, only because, look, all of us were doing whatever we were told to do, right? And we were doing more, and then the
Oh,
company
yeah.
still got sold. So, like, in
Yeah,
hindsight, it's like we never really know what was going on in the background. I can only
for
hope
sure.
that it was for the best of intentions, right? Even though some details kinda, like, stand out to me, I wouldn't even pay it any mind. You're better off
Oh,
moving
no,
forward
yeah.
than any type of, like, alright, maybe there's a detail or 2 that you feel like you could possibly change, fuck it, work on it in the next one, like, like,
Oh,
it's
yeah, no, yeah, for sure. When it comes
yeah,
to things like that, to me, it's more, like, what could I have done better? I don't hold grudges against damn near anybody, no matter I mean, shoot, man, I don't know how bad, like, your father-son relationship shit is in your life, but, like, I've been forgiving my dad a bunch of times for some shit that a lot of guys would have drew plenty of lines on. Like, even my own brother, we have different dads, like, he doesn't talk to his dad for way less. And, I'm just not good at that, but I'm not good at, holding, other people accountable if I felt a certain way in the moment. Like, time really does cure, for me, like, a lot of animosity. I'm just not able to hold grudges, man. You only get one of these things. You only get one of these lives. That's it.
I
And,
respect that.
yeah, and I'm not gonna hold anger. And if I'm, you know, like, blacklisting you in my life, I'm holding something against you, which means I'm holding something. I mean, so I'm holding it. They might not even be holding it. They might not even think about it. And I'm over here holding, like, this whatever, like, disconnected bridge or whatever, and they're not even thinking about it. It's like, why am I holding it? Who cares? Like,
And it's
let's move on. People
exhausting.
change, life changes. Yeah, like, it's a lot of weight. So I'm never good at that. But on the other end, like, on the other side of the coin is I'm bad at, though, like, really, really harsh on myself about what could you have done anyways then, like, to either avoid that or what could you have done afterwards to, like, help satisfy a better outcome, whatever the case. I'm bad at letting that stuff go because I, like, culminate a lot of that stuff. It's like, well, you could be we could be doing something dumb, roll my ankle on the basketball court. I'm like, well, if your goofy ass didn't, like, try to work all week, help this guy, help a guy
Uh,
move, then yada yada. Like, just all this stuff. It's like in reality, it's just like, you just kinda slipped one time. Like, it's not who you are, it's just what you go through. But I'm bad at telling myself, like, "You earn a lot of this whatever," like, transitions in life, a relationship, whatever. It's like, "Well, if you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do all those things, you wouldn't have got here," or whatnot. And it's like, "No, well, those were just seasons, those don't define who you are." But if I don't have that reminder, then I forget. It's like, you're not all the time what you do, you're not all the time, like, what you go through. sometimes it's just a season, like, you're just there to go through it. You're going through it, it's not who you are. If you have any friends that have been, like, divorced or gone through it, usually the point up into that, they start acting a little different, like, they might say some things or gossip a little more or, like, something's happening or even have some rip with you. Like, I've had friends that have had we've all had our issues before, like, especially tight friends where you're like, "Hey, man, so, like, I know that's not how I am, it's not how I feel. It's just because of all this shit background noise going on. Like, I think I might have overflowed on you a little bit, like, that sucks." Like,
Yeah,
but
that's it. That's exactly what I was saying in the what I was saying a little while ago, where I was like,
yeah,
even I know I'll recognize when I'm being wrong in a situation, right? And sometimes that does happen because, like, the circumstances, the stakes, they might be losing the house, they might be losing custody of the kids. Like, you never
dude,
really know
yeah.
what people are going through. But sometimes it is what it is. Like, it just is what it
Oh,
is,
I
you
know.
know?
Identifying the intentions is a lot, like, identifying someone's intent, like, are you here, especially in relationships wise, you can tell the difference between, like, okay, someone's had a rough day, and I'm kinda just feeling the back end of it, whatever, I can empathize, like, all that, but then there's a point where it's like, "Okay, are you trying to cut me? Because if I act hurt, don't get upset that your goal was to hurt me, and now I'm acting hurt and responding accordingly." Like, if
Yeah,
it means we gotta take a couple steps back and evaluate what we're going through, all that, then that's fine, but when it co what if the goal isn't that, if the goal's not, if it's just, "Oops, overflow, sorry, yada, yada," then the person, the friend that cares, the spouse that cares, our role, the ones that are on the receiving end, it's like, "Okay, well, then, are you there to see them through it?" Like, is a friend there just to be a friend when times are good, or are you gonna see them through, like, especially a marriage or a relationship? Like, are you defining them by the things that they've said when they're angry or life's getting hard, whatever? Or are you defining them, like, by actually how they treat other people and what normally goes on outside of when they're going through something? Like, they're just going through it, like, it's important to identify it. They're just going through it. It's our first time too, so it's, I'm good at give my parents a lot of grace. Some of my friends aren't, I remind them, like, "Dude, this is their first time." Like, I know, like, now they might be 50, trying to repair a relationship with you because first 20 years was really shitty. It's like, but that was if you're their only child or whatever, or their first child, it's like, dude, that was their first, it's not easy.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
nothing's easy out here.
yeah, I
So,
get you.
it's identifying that and seeing people through and not defining them by what they're going through and how they're acting while they're going through it. It's like, I don't want anybody to judge me based on the hardest times I went through, so then I'd be a pretty shitty dude. So it's like, I'd rather understand, like, yeah, people aren't always what they're going through, and you don't wanna hold them to that standard of, like, yeah, they're explosive, they're just really shitty. All they do is gossip and talk shit and blah, blah. And it's
Yeah,
like,
but,
well, that
like
was a few months of what they were going through, but what about the other 8 years when you were friends with them? Like, that's still part of who they are too.
yeah, but
Like, it might
also it should be said that understanding patterns, recognizing patterns, and then, like, let's say if you go to speak about them, like, bring it up, like, let's say, like, you got a buddy who's always lying, right? And then so you
yeah,
confront him on there like, "Bro, why
I
you
have
always
one of
lying?
those,
Like,
yeah.
it's not even deep." Right? Like, you
Yeah.
confronting them is not attacking them, you know what I mean? But, like, some people, they can't see the difference, but, like, it's still all good, right? Like, because, like, you never really understand the, like, what could be causing that behavior, like, it could be that, like, growing up, they didn't have shit, right? They didn't
Yeah.
have anything interesting, they didn't have all of the toys that everybody wanted, so when they finally did get in front of, like, people and stuff, they kinda just started making shit up because at least it shifted the attention from whatever was, like, going on to them, and then that's kinda how they knew to associate that, like, you never really know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, on top dude, I got a friend that, like, was my best friend up until, like, last year because we had some mutual friends, and they were always telling me and I and especially if the people telling you things aren't normally liars, you kinda believe them. So but I still will at some point, like, I'll try to, like, see if maybe things are exaggerated or the tone wasn't totally there, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, something's misinterpreted.
Yeah,
But
because you
dude,
you you don't know what their relationship is like.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they're going through that day. It could be 110 degrees out. Maybe they're just hot and bothered. I don't know. Their wife wasn't laying them for a couple weeks. I got no idea. But no, but it comes to a certain point though. If when you see those patterns and address them, and then you feel like you've moved forward from them, and it continues, then they're not considering how you actually feel. And a relationship's always between the two people. So regardless who your friends are, our mutual friends are, whatever, like, our relationship between us, if we've already had this conversation, man, I'm like, "Look, this is bothering me. I don't want you talking about my family or whatever the case is out of nowhere." Like, why would that come up? One, but getting into the weeds of it, not important. I just wanna know, I don't want it to continue. I don't if so, then our relationship's gonna change. Like, so I always follow the Tupac thing. It's like sometimes people, like, they don't sit at your table anymore. He's always like, I still want you to eat. It just ain't gonna be my table. So
Yeah,
it's like
like
you evaluate how close you are with somebody and how deep that relationship is, because at the end of the day, the closer people are to you, the more information you trust them with. And if I can't trust you to just not gossip and lie, then I'm definitely not trusting you like when things are hard or good. Like I also want you to be around for when things are really good too. And then, you know, I guess birds of a feather, you know what I mean? You also sometimes don't want to be associated with that stuff.
yeah, but I do also
So,
like to be close to the people who can keep it real. Like, I feel like
oh,
sometimes in an environment where nobody can keep it real, you flock towards the people who can keep it real and be like, "Bro, like, can you believe this? Like, I know, right?" Like, sometimes you need to speak it out loud for everybody to be like, "Yo, is this really going on?" Or is nobody gonna say anything? Like, that's
yeah.
healthy because you need like, we as people need to communicate about things, but when
You want people
stuff
to look
is
out for you, not how you feel in the moment. Like, you want them to look out for you, because sometimes, man, it's like, if you're going through things like, let's go on relationship-wise. So I have this conversation quite often with some of my close buddies.
Okay.
Like, because a lot of them are fresh through split ups or, like, borderline split ups right now. Like, I don't know what's in the water, but a lot of stuff's in the water right now. But, a lot of times, man, it's like, I just wanna cut it off, be single, and go do this. It's like, okay, I know because you've been fighting for a couple months with your girl, like, that's how you feel. I get it, because you guys aren't doing bedroom stuff. There's no intimacy, yada, yada, but I don't think that will solve problems. I think it might feel good, but will it solve will you be creating more problems if you just decided to do this? Like, you're just trading hurt for hurt. And, it's like you don't wanna always just affirm their emotions that they're going through. You wanna make sure you wanna check where they're at, like, in a bigger picture, because that's what you care about with your close friends is the bigger picture. So, you gotta, like, whenever my friends are married and all that, I ask them, like, "Okay, do you want, like, me to look out for a marriage right now, or what do you want me to do? How do you want me to respond if you're asking for advice? Because 'Cause I'll look out for your marriage first because I respect it. Like, that's why you had me, as one of your groomsmen.
That's
But,
real.
like, if, like, you are really going through some things and, like, this is like, you're at your, worst case scenario right now, like, this is the bridges are burned. You need to know how to move forward. I'll look out for that too, but at first, like, I'm gonna try to respect the unity that you invite me to. Like, even if you don't have a relationship with the wife, whatever, then, and dude, I've done that. Like, I've had, like, speaking of that same best friend, his wife, like, blew up on me after they got married during COVID, whatever. Nobody showed up. But because the best man, me, I was supposed to be the best man. I didn't show up because it's COVID, like, I couldn't risk at the time, like, taking off work and then testing whatever negative or inconclusive, whatever it was, and it was like, oh, $1,100 a day at this hotel for 10 days quarantine if to fly back. You remember, like, those times? And it's like, she just went off on me in, like, my messages one time, started talking about my ex-wife, all kinds of stuff, and I never told my buddy about it because 'cause I'm like, "I'm gonna respect this marriage. I don't need to say things to vet, even though he's my best friend, to, like, I don't wanna do anything that'll affect his relationship with his spouse. She's just pissy. She's pissy for him, whatever, I get it, but I'm not gonna, like, bring any of this to his attention because I just don't need him to feel it. I'm gonna respect the marriage. I'm not here to vent about your marriage. This is what your wife's doing, blah, blah, blah." Like, no, that's your wife now. Like, if she wants you to know the information, she'll tell you, but it's not gonna come from me. So, but anytime he would go through things and, talk about, like, whether it's ending it or stepping out because not getting laid, whatever, because he thought she stepped out, yada, yada. You gotta respect the unity there. You wanna keep them accountable for what, like, they also like, their own standards, because 'cause we'll drop some standards personally if we feel hurt. Like, all of a sudden, if we're not drinking, we don't get drunk on the weekdays, or we don't cheat, or we don't think about other girls, or think about messaging other girls, or we don't think about, like, sneaking around or whatever. All of a sudden, those thoughts arise whenever you're hurt because you start to act careless or you're numb, whatever. And the good friends are there to actually look out for, like, your character, not for your, like, high emotion, whether it's high, sad, high, angry, whatever.
Hey,
So,
hey, one sec, one sec, one sec.
oh man, you're good, Richie.
the freaking laptop was dying. The freaking laptop was dying, so I had to just plug it in real quick before it could,
Oh,
switch up,
man.
so I had to, change it camera angles. Uno momento, por favor.
All Gucci. Let me try to let me think. Gracias. Did I maybe I didn't. Maybe it's not a gracias response. Maybe it's all good. Muy bien.
You're good, brother. Shoot, I'm trying to change my, what is this?
You're fine, man.
Video settings. I wanna change my background. I don't
I had to
lie.
at least blur mine, even though it's clearly obvious what's behind me.
It's all good. Alright, so we're gonna call this part 2 of the podcast because,
Yeah.
my camera still got some juice. The only problem is my laptop was dying because, like I said, I was streaming on TikTok before I got on here.
Oh, so
But
you were oh, yeah. So you had a lot of shit going on with power. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
but,
Was your camera like you can it's all like on a battery pretty much or on a cord so you can pull it off and use it if you wanted?
well, no, so it was pulling power from my laptop.
Yeah.
It's a streaming
Oh,
camera, right?
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so not only do I have the software running, I also have my interface, which is also pulling, power from my, I guess I could get a DC cable and plug that in. I guess this is just kind of one of the quirks of, like, having everything, uh, like, basically not having everything in the beginning, but, like, eventually you kinda start to prepare a little bit better in the next days to come.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
But, like,
mean,
like,
you're pivoting. That's life
I
too, man.
yeah, but I wanna touch base a little bit
Shit
on what you
happens.
were saying because,
Yeah.
like, look, so I have a lot of friends, right? And some of them are homegirls, and it
Yep.
took me a long time for me to realize that, not all the time do they wanna hear a solution. Sometimes they just want the option to be able to vent to somebody without them
Yeah.
feeling like they're gonna get, like, told what to do or something.
Yeah, like,
Um
they're not looking for another opinion. They just need to get some stuff out.
Yeah, like, the
Yeah.
craziest part for me was when I would, like, the way I show love is by, like, coming up with solutions and, like, attentively listening so that way I could, like, tailor fit a solution to somebody,
Yeah,
but
man.
they just weren't responding well to it well at all. And then so basically I had to give them the option, like, "Look, do you wanna vent or do you want to just, like, do you need a solution?" Like, I'm fine with either way because, like, I've learned this now, and, whatever it takes for me to be a better friend for you, let me know how I can be there for you. And
Yeah.
then, like, it seemed like that was responding well, but even then, people got their stuff going on sometimes, so you never really know how it's gonna play out until it plays out, and then you kinda spend all that time processing like, "Oh, shit, like, damn, like, like, is
It's
there
funny you
anything
say
else
that.
I coulda did?"
My aunt, she taught me a long time ago, like, cause and she still does this, like, cause she's like my basically like my accountability therapist. So, like, if I know, like, if I might have done something wrong or whatever, and I bring it to her, like, I know I better, like, be prepared for maybe something I don't wanna hear, or, like, I'll at least get an honest opinion, like, I've gotten the other side of it where I'm like, "Maybe I was in the wrong," and she's let me know, she's like, "No, what you did was, like, normal. Their response was definitely not normal." So but she always tells me, she's like, "Okay, do you want me to be TT?" Like, my aunt, like, she's like, "You want me to be your aunt and, like, give you the real stuff, or you just want me to be your friend right now, let you get some things out, just be an ear?" So dude, for years, I've used that. So when my friends are, like, venting and all that, I'm like, "Okay, you just want me to be an ear? Or, like, do you want me to, you know, maybe give you some third party perspective on what I see, and maybe, there could have been things on your end you did differently." Like, just obviously, there's been plenty of time where she's told me, she's like, "Maybe you were kind of a prick there. Like, maybe you were kind of like, you were kind of the result of the issues there. Like, maybe, if you didn't do this or say this or go MIA, whatever." Like, she's like, "Then, like, it, probably could have been solved or bridge might not have been burned, whatever." Like, it's and I love that. I go like, which also means she's whatever I need to get out or say or need advice for, I always know I'm safe there with her. So with your role with your friends, it's like, it's a good thing too, because like, yeah, you can bring whatever information is to me. I'm going to give you what's real. Like, because I'm not going to sugarcoat things, and I'm not going to like just tell you things to like affirm how you feel. Because maybe how
Yeah.
you feel is like a little overblown, and maybe there's some other stuff involved, whatever. Um, but also, like, maybe how you feel is you're reacting to their reaction, which wouldn't happen if you didn't do, kind of cause it all. Like, if you weren't the origin of it. And then going that way. It's not like it's not attacking, like you said. Like, you're also not attacking their character or whatever. Like, you're looking out for their character most of the time, which also means, like, if you want,
You're a good friend. You're actually a
yeah.
good friend.
And I want, yeah, and when I'm acting up, tell me, because sometimes we don't see it when we're doing it. Sometimes we're saying it or whatever, we don't realize we're doing it. And, yeah, correct me too. Like, I'm also not here to, like, just be the one that feels like, I'm helping everybody else. I also want the help too. Like, I want you to be real with me. But sometimes, like, okay, but do you want an ear? Like, that's fine. If you just need to get shit out because you have nowhere else to go with it, because you've been complaining to the same spouse for too long or whatever. Usually it's how it goes if there ever is, like, a vent situation. It's like, they're just sick of saying the same things to the same walls. And I'm like, "Yeah, well, just go ahead, let it out." I'm like, "That's fine." Like, and I'm not gonna respond. I'll just let you get it out. And then whenever you do wanna actually have a chat about it, if you do want some, like, you know, further actual, solutions and find resolution for what you're yelling about, yeah, then we can talk. Like, that's fine. And if like, we don't know everything as we're friends, blah, blah. We know the person that is holding them for the most part. So it's like, what normally does work for you? Like, my buddy took a trip. Like, been in a relationship with this girl since February. So what's 5 months now, 6 months, whatever. They went, like, on a trip to Florida, and he texted me randomly, like, it was their first trip, never, you know from Virginia to Florida, it's like an 8-hour, 10-hour deal. Like, it's a long road trip. Road trip too, like, in the car, then at a hotel with his family, like, basketball tournament, all that stuff for his nephew. Anyways, he texted me, like, randomly on the road, like, saw him at the gym one day. He's like, "Yep, going on this trip with Becca, yada, yada." And he texted me, he's like, "Do I have anger management issues?" Like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Do you think I," like, and he's just his personality. He's like, "Do you think I have anger management issues?" Like, he just wants you to answer that direct question. And us, we
Like,
wanna find, like, why are you asking it? But him, he's like, I don't wanna get into any other details. Do you think I have anger management?" I'm like, "No, but, like, what's making you think you might?" He's like, "Dude, I've just been," it's like, "I feel like I've been on edge. I've been," and he's the type of personality, like, his reset is, like, alone. Like, he will spend a weekend alone to, like, get his nerves and shit right, get everything back to, like, functional, and then then deal with life again. Like, but that's his reset, is, like, isolating. Obviously, when you're in a relationship for the first time in, like, 8 years, you don't have that opportunity, especially on a road trip. You don't get the isolation. So you gotta figure out
mm,
how you gotta figure out how to recharge that battery when you feel like your social meter's out. You gotta figure out how to recharge that while someone's there with you. Like, you gotta figure it
sneak
out.
it in the bathroom, sneak it in, like,
Yeah, man, like something. Yeah, like, y go to the gas station, even if you don't need gas. "Hey, can you go in there and give me some freaking whatever, Monster," and then figure that speed rush your reset right there. Like, do it, whatever it is, like, whatever gets you through it. But, he just said he felt like he was, like, short fused, and, like, temper was high. Like, he's got a 12-year-old that was with him too, so it was, like, just a long trip. I was like, "Look, whatever
oh,
struggles you
man.
feel like you're facing on this road trip, you'd be facing them whether you were with her for a year or with her for a couple months, man. Like, road trips are just struggle sometimes anyways. Long 10-hour drives aren't fun no matter, I don't care how you cut them. I don't care if you're driving a Tesla and it's driving you. Sitting in that same spot for that long is just not fun." So, I'm like, let alone, obviously, like, you're in a new relationship, there's probably some little, you know, little tiny minute, all of a sudden, what do you call it, like, triggers that are happening to where it's like, "Yeah, I didn't care that she chewed loud, but now all of a sudden I care that she chews loud because it's 4 feet away from me for 5 hours." Whatever it is, like, all this overflow. And then, so anyways, I'm like, "I don't think you have anger management issues. Like, but why are you asking me? Like, what's going on? Because I know you're leaving today." So,
I like
like,
how you brought it back.
I'm sure, like, there's, a reason during this road trip on why you're asking this question. He's like, "I've just been going off on her. We stopped at a hotel, like, halfway, whatever." And he's like, "I was going off on her in the hotel." He's like, "I just feel like I'm gonna go nuts. Like, I'm about to flip out." And I just had to remind him, like, "Okay, well, normally, your normal routine is this." I was like, "But also don't take this out in your relationship to where you think a normal relationship would go differently or a different one would go differently. Like, this was gonna happen regardless. Your first trip was gonna feel like this, no matter how long you were with her. Like, it's just, how these things go. Like, married family of 5 is gonna have a struggle on their trip for 10 hours. Like, it doesn't mean, like, you need to actually judge how the relationship moves forward after that. Because he was getting to that point. He's like, "I don't think it's gonna work with her." yada yada. I'm like, no, okay, hold on. Like, nope, you're just going through this little trip right now. But no, you're not an angry person. You don't have anger management issues. You're just going through something right now that you're struggling dealing with. That's okay. At least you're reaching out for help. That's part of it. Like if you had anger management, you wouldn't be reaching out for help. You'd be angry and continuing to show her that anger. Yada yada. So it's like, uh, it was just funny. And then he's like, I'm definitely going to counseling and therapy when I get back. Like this, he's like, I thought I was going to explode half the time. And then they have these little dumb fights, like, you know how relationships go, like who's supposed to say first when you walk through a door. And it's funny on the outside. Like if you walk into a door in a hotel and you see them in the room, who says hello first? Like this is our argument. And I'm cracking up. I'm like, dude, that's hilarious. Like, who cares? One, just
Yeah.
acknowledge each other. Doesn't matter how it happens.
Look
It's
over
like,
and
you
be
guys were
like,
fighting over this, which was actually hilarious. Like, yeah, what do you I was like, what do you do? Just stand there and you guys just had a staring contest until like whoever's gonna say hi first?
yeah,
Like, what?
that's weird.
Yeah. So just funny stuff like outside looking in and you give them that perspective a little bit. It's like, yeah, that helps. But but yeah, it's but in those moments, like okay, clearly you got to vent, you get some anger out, but yeah, at the same time, but don't take it out on your whole relationship, man. Like you love that girl, obviously. There's a reason you even considered a trip with that person. You have been in a relationship since you were freaking 22 years old. Like it's like there's a reason she's even in the vehicle and in this hotel with you. So don't all of a sudden judge that experience and think, oh yeah, well our relationship's gonna be hard in the living room because the hotel living room was hard on this long trip down to Florida. Yada yada, stuff like that. But it's just but being there for your friends and, you know, understanding exactly like that's you know you're not and you don't need anger management. Like you guys needed a trip to figure out how you're gonna do the next trip. Like that's it. Take the lessons from this one into the next one. Boom. Maybe fly. I don't know. Whatever. But it doesn't you're not angry and she's not bitchy. Like that's what he was complaining about too. He's like, she just complain about everything, blah blah. It's the first time you ever said she's a nag. So it's like, is she a nag or are you both kind of just a little frustrated on this long trip? Just understand that. Like just, you know, like, and once you understand it, that's gonna be easy to get through. Then literally call it out in the moment. Dude, that's what I'm terrible at. Or I'm good at I'm bad at like shutting down if stuff's going especially when I'm dating someone. If I feel like stuff's getting loud or like, you know, like even if there's not an attack, it just feels like one. Not
Okay.
I'm really good at shutting down. I'm bad at like, you know, actually trying to dig through it while you're in the shitty part of it. Like, cause I don't want to dig more. Like I don't it's like that vulnerability you don't want to dig into. But I'm good at, like, when someone's mad, I'll just interrupt and say something dumb. Like, do we just need to eat? Like, are we just yelling at each other because we need to fucking eat? Like,
I
are
don't
we
think that's
hangry?
bad.
Like, do we just need to go, like, to watch a movie or something, karaoke? I don't know. Like, do we just like, I'm good about just being that, like, whatever the ADHD in me is like, can we just move on? Like, I hate this shit lingering or whatever, like and most of the times when you go through a problem and you see it, just like you said it before about insurance or whatever, it's like, once you're done with it and you look at it, you're like, "That was such a small like, why the fuck were we even fighting about that?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're in the storm, it's like, this is, like, shitty, you know? But it's important to not just blow it out of proportion and then let that affect other things. But you need those friends too. You need your friends sometimes to remind you of that.
I got something. So basically, I would like to point out two things, right? You basically hit it on the nail when it comes to like when you're in those moments, it's not the end all be all sometimes. Sometimes it really is just a moment, right? And
Yep.
I've been guilty at that, which is my second point, because I've been in rooms with people where I'm just like, damn, it's just not gonna work out, right? And then I end up self-sabotaging what could have been a good thing because
Oh,
I didn't
man,
understand in
yeah.
that moment that I could have possibly just let things flow, been all right with things. But like, it's just like this nagging, neurotic thing in my head. So like I'm glad you said that because I get to take something from this at the end of the day just like you do, right?
Dude,
And
yeah.
that's the importance of communicating, especially when, like you said, like, not everybody has all the answers.
Yeah.
Especially in a moment where you're like, yo, are we just fucking hungry? What's going on here? Like,
Dude, yeah, like, how big
but I
is this deal? Like, how big is it? Like, sometimes the fight is worse than the thing that started the fight. And it's like, how do
yeah.
we just get out of this? Like, we're creating more problems than we're solving or whatever. Like, how do we just get out of this funk now? Like, and just move on without actually, because if I say something I don't mean, then we're forgetting about how this shit started at all. Like, I feel like, dude, a lot of relationships, and I've been part of one, maybe two, to where like the reason you fight is way like less than the fight. Like, the fight creates so many problems, and then you're burning bridges, and it's like, this could all just been, like, totally avoided in general without, like, high emotions or not thinking through things clearly or just changing do they say, like, where is it? And is it interviews or something like that? Just change the room, like, change the environment. Like, if there's this place you're constantly fighting or constantly getting counseled or whatever, like, change the environment you're in, and that might give you a better like, a better way of getting through it so that you're not constantly, like, recreating cycles or just new cycles of a similar problem, stuff like that. But, dude, yeah, it's for us too, dude, self-sabotage. I don't know, it could be ADHD personality thing too, man. It's like, things should be going perfectly, and I read a book one time, and, it was certain personalities that if things are going good, you start expecting bad things. And then because you start expecting bad things because you're suspicious of the things that are happening that are good, you create it. And it's like you start literally anticipating bad things, and then you start changing the way you're operating that we're creating the good things because you're just anticipating bad things, but nothing actually came. Like it's about changing your mindset. It could have been 4 hour work week. Could have been one of those about like telling your one of those books. Like it could have been telling yourself at like at night. It could be that or like what is that habits book like habitual habits, whatever it is. One of those books, man, whatever it was. But it's about like telling yourself at night, like a lot of affirmations and expectations for the next day on how it's going to go well because it's really hard to get into a mindset of telling yourself things when you are self sabotager that it's going to go well like it but it's important to like start your day off and start your night and end your night off about like yeah start expecting things to go well instead of getting suspicious when things do go well because you're not used to having favor then you start self sabotaging it and then reliving your own cycle regardless of who's around you like if I mean, I've been a shitty person about bringing old patterns and old issues into even if I didn't create the issue. If I have a mental issue where I have some insecurity about, whatever toxic women or whatnot, or how fights go with a woman because I was with someone that was like super, super like reckless and violent with words, like didn't really care about what they were saying, just wanted to say things to win the argument regardless of the like you can win the argument, but you're gonna lose the relationship. Like, you understand that, but it was just
Yeah,
that
yeah,
pattern of,
lose
like
win the battle, lose the war.
yeah, man, it's like but when you're in a relationship like that, it's like especially for me, it's like, you think that's just how fights go. So, you avoid solving problems with the next one, which is where I was, and you start creating problems because 'cause you're like, "We're gonna see this anyways." It's like, "What? No, we weren't." Like, a real, like, emotionally intelligent person will see through it and, like, remind you, which is I was reminded of, like, "Why would you think that?" Like, "We're gonna face these issues anyways because you deserve somebody that's not like, doesn't have, whatever habits that I have, yada, yada." So I decided to do a dumb thing because I just didn't care. It's like, well, I think you care, but why did you do that dumb thing? Why did you do it because you expected me to feel a certain way? And it's like, what do you,
Trying to
well,
get
you
a
like try
rise
and
out
get,
of you. Yeah.
like try and get to the core of it, but it's like, or they could be genuine about something. You think they're being sarcastic or like taking a shot or whatever. And it's like, no, they're just being genuine. Like they're not actually like, attacking you. Not everything is what you've been through. Sometimes like people can say the same thing and it's a totally different message.
Yeah,
So, it's,
not to
go
not to
ahead, go
cut
ahead.
you off real quick, I was gonna say, so what I've learned in a situation like that to do is I will literally spend some time processing where I'll literally say, "Hey, I think we should like touch base on this later," because I feel like it's important for me to really make sure that I have the right understanding on the situation. And if I
Oh, yeah.
have any complaints about it later on, then like at least I'm more dialed in. Like I can't always trust my interpretation of the situation in the moment. Whereas like, there's emotions, there's like insecurities, there's like things, memories that
Yeah.
pop up in front of me, and I'm just like, damn, like why is this all confusing me? And you don't want to have a confused argument. Like you want it to be very
No,
intentional
no.
so that way, as you're stating your case, the other person can start to understand where you're coming from. So that way you guys can kind of try to be like, oh, okay, that's what you meant. I get you now. This is what I actually meant in that moment. And then you guys are cool, right? You guys smooth it out because like someone like me, I think about longevity. So it's like, if this is just
Yeah.
gonna be like a small point and like a huge timeline of things, then it's like, all right, it's not a big deal to argue about right now. Like you said, like we could leave this problem here and we just go get some food.
But here's
And
my
then
rebuttal, because 'cause you're just like me, it's so funny. So I've
go ahead.
it's, like we thought I always say, like, I'm usually thinking, like, 10 miles ahead, and I feel like I'm arguing about things, like, quarter mile ahead a lot. But so big it's funny, this has recently happened. It's like, if it's not a big deal to us, like, if it doesn't feel like it holds a lot of weight to us, the struggle sometimes that I just found myself was that it might hold a lot of weight to the other person. And if
Oh,
you're trying to, like, match their priorities, because I 'cause I'm just like you, I'm like, "Look, let's just drop this. Like, can we just drop it? Can we just move on?" And it's like, we might be able to do that and actually get over it. Like, it's not buried, it's actually moved past. Like, to us, we just worked through it like it's, "Okay, this is won't happen again. This is getting off hand. Like, this is just not where we want it to be. Let's just drop it." It's just funny. I just went through this. And,
I'm already thinking about like 3 scenarios in the back of my head.
dude, it's like but to them, it's like, "No, this is a real priority to me. I don't wanna drop it. I'll just get more angry." And then now you're like, "Okay, so if they choose to go our route on how to solve this problem, then it's gonna become a hard problem to solve because they're telling us, they're communicating it. It's not like it's, we're not reading the mind here that, oh, yeah, if we sit on it, then it means they don't think we care about it, and then they're gonna operate from a place where they don't think we care now. So maybe they care less when we do bring it back because they've said that, and we're also not feeling the urgency of it. And I think that's whether it's a job or a relationship, and it's hard for me, man. I mean, it's super hard for me, especially I'm goofy and outgoing. So when like a real, if it's not like a deal breaker to me, but it's a real urgent issue for someone to get over without it compounding into like snowballing before we talk again, then I also don't want to face a harder battle, like probably like you. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I damn sure don't want the next conversation to be worse than this one. The whole reason I want this one to sit and relax is because of how difficult it's getting. And I feel like if I feel like we're just butting heads and not getting anywhere, but I just want to take a break and maybe we can like approach it from a different angle next time. But if you're telling me we might approach it from a different angle, but now like the mountain to climb is a lot higher and steeper than the one we're in, then it might well, I guess we'll just dig our feet in now. Then if it's that urgent to you, let me meet your urgency. Like, okay, it's urgent to you. It's not a big deal to me. That's fine. Then what can I do for you now to help solve some of the issues that you're having, even if we don't get through the whole problem? Like, where can we like at least put some hope in to where in some good direction, and so that when we come back to it, because not every problem can be solved in like a half an hour fight. So, and sometimes you feel like it can, and then it still lingers because it just you didn't get whatever it was, all the affirmations or the trust or whatever that you needed. You just didn't get all the information that you needed, or they didn't get it. And you don't want anyone to cut it short. You also don't want them to just agree, like, "Oh yeah, let's just sit on it." Go, "All right, sure, we'll just sit on it. Sure. Yeah, no, we'll talk later. Go ahead." And then immediately like, "Ah, shit." Like they either might not
Fucked
answer.
up. I fucked up, chat. I fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, "God damn it." But dude, I'm the same way. I'm like, if it feels like it's getting worse, or if it's not going anywhere, if we're just spinning wheels, we just come back to this later and just act normal. Even if we're not acting, like, let's just be normal. Like, let's just jump back to where before this stupid issue. But sometimes, especially girls, God, sometimes they just can't. They're just like, "No, no, right now, it's now or it's gonna be worse. I'll make sure it's worse because now I feel like you don't care. You don't try to solve it now." So it's like, "Oh, damn it. Okay, well then what do you need from me? Like, what do you need?" Like, just that's when I think questions are more important than advice or input, because it's like you literally might be just like clients. Like this applies to sales too, I guess, and obviously project managing. You got to figure out too exactly what their needs are before you start assuming. So it's like, all right, well, okay, if we have to solve it now, then what do you need now to solve it? Or what can I help you out with right now so that you have peace of mind for, you know, the next conversation we have? Or if we can get through it all now, what's it going to take? Like, cause then they also have to match like what you're willing to give. And it's like, I'm not willing to give you 2 more hours of this. All right. Like, this is where the compromise has to come in. So if I'm not willing to give you 2 more hours of this fight, even though it's what you'd be willing to do, I'm not willing to do it. What can I give you in like, another 45 minutes so that you have peace of mind and that maybe we get through in the 45 minutes, maybe not, but at least you know there's a better direction so that this shit just isn't lingering to where we can't act normal together. Like, what do we need to do? Okay,
I
like, what specifically do you need? Like, what exactly do you need from me right now? Like, what can I say or do or whatnot? If you need space and time, then say that too. Don't just if you want begged for or whatever, like, then we're gonna have to come to a compromise there also. But like, what exactly can I help with right now? Like, what will help solve your problem right now? Part of it, even like, what gives you peace of mind or more hope, so that if it's something you don't want me to repeat, or something I don't want you to repeat, or something you're not willing to do that I'm expecting you to do, or vice versa, then like, what is the next step? Like, if we are thinking 40 steps ahead, and all we can do right now is just take the next one, what's the next one? Do we need to just shut up, say we love each other, and like then make another phone call, or like, do we need to just like sit here in silence and let a couple minutes pass until we can think and engage in a better like light without it being heat of the moment, or what? Like what? So that's important. Like just finding the urgency and then matching it, because sometimes, do the way I am, it's like no, and then you try to convince them like, no, trust me, you're just mad right now. Let's just talk about it later, so that you're not mad when you talk about it. Yada yada. But those personality types are different. Like when they're type A, which I find myself, for whatever reason, I attract type A. It's like it's not like us where we can shelf it and just come back to it, let it collect dust or whatever, and then it's much easier to get through with us because we haven't even focused on it much. Like could be the part of the self sabotage in us too. I don't know, but some of those personalities, man, they can't shelf it. They're used to like a checklist every day of what they can get through, and if it's even their relationship, like if I'm not moving forward to whatever we need, because moving forward means this issue's done. Like I can't get to normal life again without it. Then they're going to be on this. Like this isn't getting shelved. They're holding it the whole time, even though we're able to shelf it. That's a hard, dude. That's a hard bridge to gap because it's just, it's like you don't want to seem fake. You also like you don't want to just you also want to go through the motions and say you're just taking them seriously and you're not. And and you want to actually feel the problem as they feel it. Like it's if hanging out, like for me, it was hanging out with friends and like going out weekends in a row, and it's like that's just I live alone, you don't, like, say they have kids. It's like that's my only interaction with people. I got one dog, and it's like that's what my friends do. It's like, well, all you do is go to bars. It's like, well, that's all that there is to do. Like restaurants literally become bars. If we want to go watch the UFC fights or whatever, it has to be a bar. If we want to go like see any of the football or basketball games, it has to be a bar, like a sports bar. But like it's you have like, but it's urgent to them, so you want to be able to solve it. But it's at the same time, there could be lights to where it's like their angle is not reasonable. And so you can bring reason to it. Even if you wanted to shelf it, it's like, well, if I can bring reason to it now, we can bring reason to it.
So,
So
if I
tough
can
though.
interject, I'd like to
Dude,
say
yeah,
that
do it.
being
You can
able to
interrupt me anytime too. I'm not gonna be offended. You know what I
no, but
mean? I
like
know how my brain is. I gotta get thoughts out.
you're touching base on a lot of strong subjects, so like I like to give you the space to be able to get it out because like eventually this is gonna go online and people are gonna be able to hear it, and then like I want people who are like who can resonate with that whatever it is that you're saying at that moment to be able to hear it the thought and complete. And so
Yeah,
that's why like I just try to give you that space. But in a
dude. Yeah,
moment like this, I'd like to touch base on what you were saying is like in that moment being able to recognize what the other person is trying to get across to you is a skill, and it's not something that you get overnight. Like,
dude. Yeah,
if you're an 18-year-old and you're just barely dating for the first time, right? And you come in contact with like a girl, things are okay, then you guys move in together, right? Like, you're not, it's a whole different ballgame. Like, you're not going to
dude, yeah,
understand how women are when it is that they want to fight. And it doesn't even just have to be women, right? Like you said, like there's personality types. Like you can
dude.
definitely
Yeah,
very much be a man who just can't let shit go. And
yeah,
your wife, they, them, whoever, right? Like they could be affected by that. And then they'd be like, yo, bro, like it's not that deep. But to you, it's like, nah, this is very deep. Right? It's all or nothing right now. And
yeah,
so like I just feel like in those moments, being able to like register like first take the second to evaluate what it is that like is going on, like all right, what's going on here, where are they coming from, how do I feel about this moment. Being able to do all of that simultaneously is the skill part, but then just being able to know where to go from there is like it takes a little bit of foresight, like shit, we're gonna be here 2 hours, we got dinner plans with some friends. Like, you know, you got to be able to set that expectation. And some of my previous relationships, what I've done is I've literally been like, listen, this isn't a subject that I very much care for to talk about right now. I will talk about it with you because I understand that it's important to you, but you got to understand that from my perspective, where I'm coming from, this just isn't the time for me to have this conversation. And I know that that could sound very wrong to people, but sometimes people do need to understand where you're coming from, right? Like you need to also be able to set those boundaries, just like they're setting boundaries with you, and still feel like you're hearing them and like that they're hearing you. Because if not, that can build up resentment, and that can be a very
Oh, yeah.
unhealthy thing.
Yeah, especially when you're in an argument and both you are coming from resentment, because that's the ego part too. Like, if you're coming from resentment and expecting solutions, then you better expect the resentment to be able to fall for you too. Because if you're wanting a solution, then, like, you also gotta be prepared that you gotta be part of it. Like, you have to be part of it because they could do what you want, and if you're still resenting them, it doesn't matter what they do. You're in a mood or a mode at the moment to where it's like, "I'm gonna find a reason." So, to give an example, I got a buddy going through this now, like, literally as of yesterday. Like, he was on the phone, they got a newborn, he'll be 1 tomorrow. It's a brand new newborn, right? 1-year-old tomorrow. Um, and they're fighting, I won't say names, but, so
Nah,
they're
they live
arguing.
right there. They live
Yeah,
right
they're
down the block.
so exactly. Here's their address, all that, like, this is where he works. But, yeah, so, like, dude, they're fighting about, like, they're having they've had, like, some marital problems recently, like, just some, and I've just always brushed it off, like, when he's chatting about it, and he's one of those guys, like, you got friends that, like, I'm usually the go-to for a lot of his issues, which I'm fine with, like, I like that. But with that responsibility also comes, like, a cry wolf scenario sometimes to where it's like, "Yeah, man, you just complain about it, it's fine, like, I get it, but you got a newborn." Like, so I just always write it off to that. I'm like, "You guys are, like, honeymoon, that you've been married a few years, like, you just had your new baby. Like, it's just what you guys go through. It's just what new parents go through, yada, yada." Well, it came to some real different terms yesterday. He, like, sent me some screenshots and stuff, and, and he's like, yeah, or Friday night, I guess. Yeah, it would've been Friday night. Uh, and it was like, yeah, we were on the phone, me and her were on the phone, and, she just asked how I was doing. "You having a rough day?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's super rough." She's like, "Well, but you think you had a rough day? I had a rough day, blah, blah." And he got annoyed, irritated, and hung up because it's like, she asked me how I was doing, I told her I had a rough day, and it was like competition on who had the roughest day. So he hung up, right? Like, probably not a good way to respond. I told him that. I was like, "Well, you probably shouldn't have hung up. Like, if she's like, she might have been asking you how you feel, that might have just been how she was just engaged in the conversation. She might have not, obviously, she didn't care about what you're gonna say. She need to get some shit out." And, so and it might not be a competition. She might just say, "Yeah, you think you had a rough day? I also had a rough day. Like, it sucked for me too, yada, yada. Let's," it could have ended with, "Let's go somewhere for dinner." But who knows now, because you hung up. So, or it could have been like, "Yeah, your rough days aren't even, anything compared to mine." Whatever. Like, whatever. Either way, like, you hung up, like, you kinda abruptly interrupted her, even if she was venting, lashing out a little bit, whatever. Now you gave her a reason to do it again, and she sure enough, like, sent him a text message like, "Hey, get your shit out by Monday, yada, yada." Yeah, like,
Oh, shit.
so yeah, right, so it felt like the gravity of the response was not. That's what I told him, like, "Dude, what is going on?" This I was like, "Is what," like, I had to identify, like, what he told me was true, because I know both of them. Like, "Dude, were you honest with me about how the conversation went? You didn't call her a biatch and say she was the worst, most failing mother, whatever. Like, you just said this, right? Because this, like, looks like a crazy overreaction. Like, it feels like what you said or did with hanging up should have generated this. Like, what else has been going on? If you're wanting to help through this, like, what the fuck else has been going on? I don't hang up on you because we tell each other how we feel, and we've been, they get lack of sleep. They got a 1-year-old. Like, they're both aware of that. Like, I don't need to bring their awareness to that. I'm just letting them know, like, it's probably just what you guys go through. But, like, damn, maybe I was like, "Is this postpartum? Is this what?" 'Cause I don't know. I don't got baby mamas. So, uh, he's like, "No, like, we just had the same fights, yada, yada." But, like, she just exploded, sent me the screenshot, and it was like, "Yeah, get out by Monday." And he's got a 13-year-old, so it's, like, a little different. Like, now he absolutely knows what I'm talking about. Uh, so it's like,
Just for the
yeah,
record, I am talking about you.
yeah, exactly. You know who you are.
If you were
Uh,
listening, you know
yeah,
now.
yeah. So, like, I'm like, there's no way, like, she just comes to a point out of nowhere after you hang up to where it's like, "Oh, let me put you and your son out, and also you pay the bills," like, the bills are shared, but, they're married, he sold his house to move into hers, yada, yada, like, obviously, there's a building here, like, there's a plan to build life together, and all of a sudden, it's turned into, like, "Okay, well, the roof is under control of the woman, so she can determine who's under it." It's like, "No, that's not how that works either," so I'm like, what the fuck is generated that?" He's like, "Well, I told you we haven't had sex since November, blah, blah." I'm like, "Dude, hold on. What?" Like, "Dude, hold on." Like, now, like, because clearly and what I'm getting at is, like, they're coming from resentment, clearly. Like, regardless of whatever the fuck happened on that phone conversation, that screenshot was gonna happen whether he had answered that phone or not. Like, it was just the next reason. You know what I mean? So, like, I had to come to terms because he is normally, like, a lot of reasons for his relationships fights, which is fine. Like, it's just, we have people that if they're just sometimes they're just the reason. It's fine. If they work on it, that's fine. And it's like there's a lot of reasons, whatever. But I'm like, dude, if you just hung up and she told you, yeah, get out your son's birthday, both of your sons, like the same human, is one on Monday. She's telling you got to be out by his birthday, which is crazy. I was like, does she not see like have you helped her understand, like, she's just trading problems for your guys' problems? Like, obviously, you're not intimate, so lets me know she's been checked out. I was like, so you gotta approach her from an angle where she's checked out, dude. Like, and he's married, I've been married, so I can't relate to raising a human, but I absolutely can tell when a woman's checked out, especially afterwards. Like, especially when you're out of the relationship, you can see probably when you checked out and probably when they checked out, and it's easier to see than when you're in it. Like, when you're in the storm, super hard to see what's going on because all you're just freaking seeing is a whole bunch of shit storming. Like, just it's a lot of thunder and it's a lot of rain and everything you feel like the environment around you has a big impact on it. So your water is always warm because there's always a storm around you. So you're always close to boiling. Like, you know how that goes. Like, if you're in a relationship, you're not married, you're not intimate or kissing or whatever for freaking 8 months, whatever. Like, clearly there's issues in the house. There's tension probably all day long. So I know that will be for me for sure. I was like, I don't know how you do it, dude. We would be in marriage counseling and therapy. Like, I'm not that patient. I was like, so I mean, you have a lot of patience, but like this would have to be addressed. And he told me like, I'm afraid to address because she would always come at me like, well, if you have a problem, just move out. And it's like, oh, now some shit's starting to click. I'm like, okay. So you can't bring the problems to her because you're afraid of this response that you just got. Because if you bring any problems, you feel like the out the door comments coming and nobody won't, I don't feel like even focusing on this. So I'm not going to bring you to why aren't we being intimate? Why aren't we even like being affectionate? Why aren't we going on dates? Why aren't we doing any of this? Because I know if I bring this and it leads to this, because it has, then I'll just avoid this, which means you avoid this. And then we get a culmination of all kinds of problems and this blow up happens. So but then it came to me. I'm like, okay, so I was like, maybe you've been downplaying, maybe you just haven't been telling me about like the urgency, but maybe I wasn't meeting your urgency. Also, I thought you were just venting about all this shit, dude. I thought when you said, well, I haven't been laid in a month, blah, blah, you were just like, you know, talking your just venting after work like you normally do. I wasn't taking it as serious as I think clearly it's been going on. So I wasn't recognizing how priority like these issues were. And now it's like now doesn't want to go to anybody else because you also don't want to bring these huge problems. This is a big issue too, I think, with young couples, especially from her, like as far as her end. If you tell your issues to a lot of people, man, you're gonna get a lot of input, and like I feel like people end up doing things they don't want to do, but they do things that they think everyone thinks they should do because you just brought your problems to a whole freaking
That
city.
part.
Yeah, it's like and sometimes when you're in the problem, it's exaggerated. Like if you go through a fight, like you might exaggerate a little bit, whether it's for your own benefit to get people on your side a little bit, or because like you have 50 problems as like this one, and it's you you have to understand. Hush, um, Willow, hush, hush, Willow, stop. Know what you're barking at. So when you bring the problem to a lot of people and it becomes a lot of input, it's like you getting like a over analysis paralysis to where now you're thinking about everybody's input, everybody's opinion that you went to. Like you went to them for a reason. Like for you know. I always say like after being out of my relationship because I quickly vented because I feel like we didn't have any problems. And all of a sudden when I did, I'm like, I get everybody's opinion on. everybody, even if I don't care. Like, even if somebody doesn't care, even if they don't care, I'm still gonna bring it to them. Like, if they're not even invested, then why the fuck they're not gonna look out for you. They're just like, "Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, that sucks, do it. Do whatever you are telling me you wanna do." Like, I feel like I wanna leave and be single and just go drink. Like, "Yeah, do it, I don't care." Like, "I don't care about your relationship anyway, so just do it." I feel like people bring it to especially coworkers because you spend a lot of time with coworkers. So, like, a lot of people find themselves venting to, like, people they work with, and then they just want the most fun version of whoever you are anyway. Like, 90%, like, obviously, you can get us, we're chatting, like, we can talk about things without understanding, like, we're not just here to help mood that each other. Whoa, stop.
Yeah, but
Um,
they're just not as vested. They don't have
exactly.
any they don't got no skin in the game.
And I think sometimes we bring problems to those people on purpose and not our circle, not the people that hold us accountable, because we don't want to be held accountable. So, like, I'm not talking to my groomsmen, I'm not talking to, like, and I never think you should bring problems to your parents unless it's, like, dire. Like, you don't do it unless it's dire, because their opinion is gonna be hard to change back. If you're bringing them a bunch of problems and all they're hearing is problems, then they're gonna develop a new judgment on who you're with, and they're literally just gonna look out for you how it is with you without them. Like, I am 101 person on, like, why not to bring problems to your parents. They're just gonna influence you on just be without 'em. All you do is complain about
Yeah,
them.
they could be a little bit biased, right? And that
Oh,
goes
for
into the
sure.
whole, like
They're solely biased. Like, they wanna look out
yeah.
for you, like, your family supports you through whatever you decide most of the time anyways. But when you bring a lot of your problems to your parents, like, they're gonna develop a new judgment, and then when you want that judgment to change, it's harder to convince your because they have so much bias towards you. It's like,
Yeah,
it's hard to convince them on,
consider your sources.
"Yeah, man," and, like, if you're going to your parents, they're just gonna tell you what you wanna hear most of the time. Like, you might get some good honesty, like, with a marriage and counseling and stuff from parents, but at the end of the day, like, they don't wanna see their kid hurt. So they're just gonna immediately go to what can we fix right now? What can we do right now? Even if I'm not looking out for your future, even if I know you
You should leave her.
yeah, no, serious my mom was that way,
You
man.
should just go back to being, like, for the streets, cause you
She
should
was
just leave her.
you always know without her
I
anyways,
love
blah,
her,
blah.
hold on.
Yeah, it's like but even if you think at the time you should, and then you try to bring that person back around in a good light, dude, it's an uphill climb because your family is already hurt. So you're like, and then you're battling your support because that's who you want to support you through your relationship. So that's who's around, right? Like you go to Thanksgivings and junk and Christmas, all that. It's with family. So you don't want that shit to be weird. So you're trying to like build this person back up. And it's a harder battle, with your family than it is like your friends that are around, most of the time, like the whole relationship. So they can give you like a better perspective because they don't just experience and hear, the shit. So it's like just go to your like if you have real issues, go to your groomsman first. Like if you've already been through therapy or whatever, go to your fix it first. Like do what you can to fix it before you bring it out. Anyway, before it hits the fucking street, quit putting your shit on Front Street because then you can cry wolf, dude. I mean, I have one friend that cried wolf too much. Like you, like we told, like you didn't take our advice at all. Anyways, like I don't even know why you come to us anymore. He's like, I just feel like I'm always bitching. We're like, you are always bitching, but that's why we don't give you any advice. Because you've been bitching about the same thing for 3 years, man. You're choosing it now. You know what I mean? Like, you've been bitching about the same problems for 3 years, man. You're choosing the problem. We're not gonna help you solve the thing you clearly wanna choose.
You like the
So,
hard life.
yeah, and it's like it's when you have all these "can we talks," yada, yada, and we seem like we're uninterested because yeah, we've heard this already. We are kinda uninterested because we're gonna be hearing about it again. We expect to hear about it again because you don't actually solve
Yeah.
it.
It's a
You want the
cycle.
cycle. Yeah, and you want it, you choose it. If you continue to choose it, then don't come to me about how you can do without it or what you can do to be out of it. You can't do anything because you choose it. You gotta choose a different cycle.
Yep.
So, like, we've been telling you this, but if you keep coming with the same problems, then we're gonna keep giving the same answer. We're just not gonna care about the answer. Like, we're not gonna because you already know it. We've already given it to you. You just don't wanna admit it or you don't wanna accept it. So, if that's the case, that's fine. Now you know why we don't seem as, like, interested in the same problem. No one ever gets that way. Like, no one, like whether it's job, your kids, friends, whatever. If somebody complain about the same thing for 3 or 4 years, whether you get sick of hearing it or it just starts to be like watered down, regardless, it's not going to have the same value or urgency that it did before because like, well, we remember when we talked for 2 hours and we try to help develop like the best solution for you or the third 2-hour conversation or the fifth one and now we're still talking about it. Like, okay, well now 3 years has passed. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it gets
too
old
late, man.
very old very
Yeah.
fast.
It's like now you're gonna try to do this shit without your support. Like, so I always think like if you can get solved in the house without bringing your shit out, don't, especially the public, especially online, all that, because then it's just human nature. Like we're gonna see the responses and hear it, and whether you want to consider it or not, it's gonna be there. Like even the shit that like about yourself, you might not want to hear and see. Like you're gonna think about that all of a sudden. Like, damn, maybe I am. But am I a narcissist because she put our shit out there like in her own way? And I was like, now you're thinking, oh, he's a narcissist. Like, oh, damn, am I a narcissist? Like now I got to do some my own self evaluation and stuff on thoughts that would have never happened to me. And now you're arguing to be like, well, you said I'm a narcissist anyway. Tell all your friends and shit on Facebook I'm a narcissist. So like, why do you care about being with a narcissist? Yeah, like it turns into that. It's like you can avoid all those roads by exhausting all the resources you have in your home, like putting your ego down, writing things down, whatever, trying to find their love language and meet it there. Like before you go, like putting your shit on Front Street, which then I think should go to like your groomsmen, like the guys that look out for you or whatever, or her bridesmaids, like same wedding, like the people closest to her, not family or whatever. Like I know siblings are different, like they're a little bit different when you're close to them, but at the end of the day, they're gonna pick blood. Like at the end of the day, they're gonna choose, even if blood is wrong, they will tell them, yeah, well, I think he does wrong, but I'll still support you. Like that's life. That's just how it works. So it's I think that surprises a lot of people with well, like I was with my ex-wife, like me and her brother-in-law were like tight, worked for the same companies, both were adjusters, traveled the same storms, all that. So I'm venting, going to him with a lot of our problems like towards the end. But to him, it's oh, you're bashing my sister-in-law a little bit. Like regardless how tight we were for 7 years, blah blah. Like that's his wife's blood. She's gonna be around if I'm not around. Regardless, she's gonna be around. So I wasn't. I recognized that like there's this. To me, it's just like he's my best man at my wedding. I'm like she's doing this, she's doing this, doing this, and then you know I'm talking to coworkers and like, oh yeah, well he said like you're just being a bad dude, you're just being a bad Christian, blah blah, whatever. I'm like, hold on, what? Like
He's
I
like,
told this dude,
I never
I
said
gave him
that,
the
by the way.
details. Yeah, like, I gave him the details, but it puts in perspective. Like, but that taught me, and after I go through divorce, then my family tells me about their divorces, some of the similarities. My friends start going through it. Dude, so many issues are the same. Like so many issues in marriages fail for the same reasons, whether it's communication or somebody was checked out first well before because of uncommunicated expectations or like uncommunicated issues. Um, like a lot of relationships result in the same thing because the same problems. It's just written on a different script. Like it's just written on a different relationship blueprint, but it's the same freaking issue. Like it's the same shit.
Also, I feel
Like
like context is king in a lot of situations where like there's a lot of misunderstandings from like let's say like people on the outside looking in, they might not read that situation like how you would because you're a little bit more familiar with the circumstances than they are. So they might
yeah,
not appreciate the same things that need appreciating in a moment. So they might just be going based off of like, yo, like this is just how my vibe is when you're bringing it to me. But they're not paying attention to the context or maybe you're only giving them a little bit of a whole scenario like your buddy when you're like what how could it have how is this such
growing
a
up, but now she's
big
taking you
disconnect.
out. Like, what do you
Yeah,
mean? What you? And she's telling you like part of that message was like, oh, you need to go to therapy. I told you you need to find a psychiatrist. Blah blah. I'm like, when the fuck did this happen? Like, what does she mean you need to find a psychiatrist? Like so, and he's like, well, I told you like when she's always said that she's not going to go to marriage counseling or marriage therapy unless I go to therapy. I'm like, that's not how that works. If we have marital issues, got like 2 feet got to be in. Like you can't like it's me and you and it's the marriage itself. Like we're not going to breathe life into this thing if with just one person's lungs. Like it takes us both. So it's like if she's not going to work on the unity until you work on you, how is this a marriage at all? Like this isn't a partnership at all. If you're wanting to like help the marriage, like this can happen simultaneously. Both things can exist at the same time. I can work on me and the marriage. Why are you not willing to do anything unless I work on me? Like, so it's like, I'm like, dude, okay, now all these levels are a lot different. Like
yeah,
all
it's
of
like
it's different.
almost like quiet quitting at that point.
Dude, yeah, checked out. Dude, that's why I'm like, it's like it felt like she was finding a reason. Like she was finding a reason not to work on it. You gotta work on you. And she probably knew like if I tell him to do it, it's probably gonna be hard for him to do it because he just feels like he's being told to do it. So unless I work on this, because I'm already checked out, I don't want to work on this anyways. So I'm gonna give you a chore I know you're probably not gonna do, unless I do this, but it relieves my guilt anyhow because I told you I had a requirement for us to do this. When it's like a marriage doesn't require, like that's not how a marriage works. Like if there's issues, you're supposed to dive in together. It's not until you do something. Like, there's not an ultimatum in a marriage when you okay, but when we face certain issues, when she tells you to do something, you gotta do it, or she's not working on the marriage. That's not how unity is. But so all these, all that culmination of things, I'm like, okay, dude, now this changes everything with yeah, this wasn't clearly from you hanging up. This is clearly from like a big culmination, but you also have needs and stuff too that you should be able to bring to the like you should be able to bring them to the table without feeling like you're gonna get kicked out or without feeling like you can't even bring an issue to the table unless you go to freaking therapy. Like this, you both need therapists. Clearly, if you can hang up and she generates this response, we both need therapy. Like I think that's pretty easy to acknowledge. Like that, what if I'm complaining about him saying, like hanging up on the phone and saying he was tired, and my complaint turns into me kicking you and your 13-year-old out of the house while we're married and our on our 1-year-old's birthday. I'm not, any. I think most normal humans would assume her reaction's probably worse than what his action was. And it's like, if you think this needs therapy, this reaction also needs therapy. Like, if you're also telling someone they need therapy before you do marriage counseling, maybe I also need therapy because I can't even literally hear him complain now without wanting to kick him out of the house. Clearly, you also, like, we both need some help. So,
Yeah,
and that doesn't need like a mental health expert's opinion. That's like, no, it's easy to see like this from the outside looking in as any third party that like, yeah, you don't need a lot of details to understand if you're able to, in a 3-year marriage and your 1-year-old is almost 1, to kick your husband, baby daddy out in a 3-day span because you're saying it's because he hung up and you both were frustrated. That's clearly like anybody would think, yeah, they both need work. They both need work. The marriage needs work. Clearly, like, and if you have this, what I told him, I'm like, I was like, yeah, it's clear like you're at a point now where no matter what you say, man, it's going to come to a point where she just wants to say this. Like, this has to come out. You've been afraid of this. You can't bring problems up unless you're getting kicked out. So, like, you have to approach her from a checked out standpoint. Like, you got to try to get her to check back in. Then you both got to actually work on the marriage regardless. Like, you got either you stand firm and be a man, or you got to live with the result also. If she's not willing to do it, man, if she's not willing to do it, you can't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do anyways. But I think it's important too to help someone, even if they don't maybe feel like doing it in the moment. It's like, well, you did get married. Like, start asking questions. I think it's super important. So, like, giving direction and opinions, like, start asking questions more and make her answer it. Make her like also say it out loud. Sometimes we get stuck saying things in our head that sound a lot better in our head than when it's out loud. We're like, shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like that was a bigger, like fuck up than in my head was. Like, even if, whether it's a joke or a point, whatever, or how you feel, like once it comes out and you say it out loud, sometimes that it hits a little different than what you expected it to. And then you realize, damn, maybe it just sounded better in my head. And now that I've said it out loud, maybe I don't even feel that way.
yeah.
You know what
Because
I
some
mean?
you're
Like,
biased too, so, like, the impact that it has on the other person makes you realize that reality, and you're like, "Oh, fuck," like, "Wait, oh, shit," like, this is just something that I've been kinda, like, like, something that I've had in my head that's kinda been culminating for a long time,
yeah,
only to find that, like, I was incorrect. But sometimes it does take that, like, getting out there to be able to hear yourself speak. You're like, "Damn, that sounds fucked up," like, how would I like it if somebody said that to me? And then,
yeah.
like, then you kinda start to, like, change a pace, but at that point, it's like bullets out of a gun. You
Oh
can't take
yeah.
the words you say. You can say you're sorry, but it doesn't, always heal the damage that was done.
Can't unring the bell.
Nope.
Can't do it. Dude, in words, there's two that brought up 2 quotes that I've heard, like, what you resist persists. Like, whatever you resist, whether it's, like, the easy one to think about is paying bills, whatever you're gonna get a reminder and that bill's gonna keep adding up until you pay it. Or, like, if you're holding things in, like, you're resisting it, you're resisting talking about it, you're resisting bringing it up, you're resisting facing it, it's still gonna persist, it's gonna continue to persist. Continue to persist. Like, it doesn't go away. Sometimes the only way to get through it is to actually go through it, not, like, putting it down or hanging it up, hoping it gets solved, like, some other way without going through it. Like, what
Yeah,
you resist is absolutely gonna persist. Like, if you don't face it, it's gonna face you at some point. Like, it's gonna come to you, and a lot of times when our problems come to us without us bringing our problems up, It's usually not the fun way. Like, it's usually
Nah.
not the simple or fun way or easy way, like,
Those
y
ones hurt, those ones hurt. But, like, what I
dude,
was gonna
yeah.
say is, like, sometimes it's what you need to do in order for you to level up. You might be stuck at
Mm.
a level and
Oh,
the
man,
last
you
thing
have
is for
to.
you to like, you gotta go through it so you can grow through it. I've said
Yeah,
that
man.
in, like, other podcasts, I've said that in some of my songs and stuff, but sometimes the
There's
reality
a
of
guy
that
that
is,
told
like,
me a long time ago, he's like,
so
you
hard.
can choose to go through it, or you can choose to go through it, or you can choose to grow through it, no matter what it is. But that's your choice. At the end of the day, that's your choice. Like, we've all, like, encountered people, met people in our lives that have, like it's like they feel like they had so much potential or whatever, and it's just like, why the fuck didn't like, you're, like, way smarter, way cooler, way whatever, like, more wise, like, or, like, someone was super funny, had, like, a big outgoing personality, like, damn, they were always, like, fun to be around. I wonder why the hell they're miserable now. Like, whatever it is, like, shit like that to where it's like, yeah, well, some people, like, get comfortable, like, where they are without having to grow or, like, level up, like you said, and the biggest growth is always, like, outside of our comfortability for sure. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
and
sucky part.
that complacency is dangerous because it'll take you to some very dangerous places. I don't mean, like, physically, like, you're gonna get harmed. I mean, sometimes
Yep. Oh,
you,
yeah,
like,
worst case
draw back
scenario
to,
for
like, some
sure.
unhealthy habits. But, like, that complacency sometimes can be detrimental to your progress. It could be detrimental to your relationships and just, like, overall your mentality and, like, your train of thought. Like, whatever you were focusing on gets put on the back burner because now you're kinda starting to, "You know what? Like, maybe I don't need to stay so hungry. Maybe this is as good as it should get," right? But,
Dude,
like
yeah, that's
especially in a marriage,
the opposite of
you
failure is complacency. It's not, or the opposite of success is complacency, not failure. Failure
man,
usually is tied into success.
literally
And that's
me
the
versus me at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all like just like the gym, like, it takes repetitions, like, you to get some new muscle growth or new things to grow at all, like, literally, sometimes you actually have to, you might need to add more weight. You might need to add more responsibility to your plate. Like, you might have to start trying to solve hard problems, and it might be super difficult at first and make you super sore afterwards, but the result at the end of the day is now you know how to do more reps of something with more weight on it. You know how to control more weight, you know how to get more weight off of you, and then you know how to teach someone else what it's like to have that kind of weight on you. So you can also help them get through it whenever they face that kind of weight. And it's like, but when you're in it, like, it might take some breaking down. Like, you might have to break your muscle down.
Yeah, cause like, even you get those micro tears, right? Like, all the stuff on the muscle, like, all those sinews and stuff that get torn that eventually lead weight, like, they get rebuilt, and that's what adds on to the muscle. It's like that in real life too. You need things to challenge you, to stress you out, to kinda, like, metaphorically break you in a way, or, like, should I say, like, rip you open, so that way you can grow.
Yeah, adversity's good. There's this there's a girl in my life now that she's like never had a dad growing up. Like, she had a dad, but found out when she was 16, he wasn't the dad. So he just dipped. And she took it personally. She's like, how could somebody raise me to me till I was 16 and then just dip? Like, I don't get it. Like, now she's a mom of five, yada yada. She's super successful, like, has a couple businesses, like, influencer, all that shit. And and she, like, brings that up a lot. And I was like, man, isn't it nice though? Like, don't you appreciate that? And she's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, I just never wanted my kids to have any life like that because she's single now, or we're together now, but was single at a point as a single mom. And, she's like, "I just never want my kids to grow up without a dad, blah, blah, blah." I was like, what would you be afraid of? Them to end up like you?" You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't have that adversity growing up, like, instead of that being and that it was also used as a jab from her ex, the baby daddy was like, you never had a family growing up anyways, like, you wouldn't understand or yada yada, shit like that. Yeah, like, deep cuts,
Oh,
like, right? There's a difference
wow.
between someone, like, trying to solve a problem with you and somebody cutting you. But no, like, and I try to change your perspective. That's one thing I'm good at for other people, at least, is change perspective a little bit. I'm like, "You
It's
should have
always
taken
the
that."
work on the inside that's the hardest, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you could preach to the choir all day. I can tell everybody what to do, what not to do, and then it means I gotta do it. Sometimes, like, shit, yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's the difference between, like, a leader and a boss. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, if you wanna be a leader, like, then you gotta fucking do it what you say you'll do. Like, you gotta do it too. Like, you can't. "Yeah, yeah, you need therapy, yada, yada. You need to do this. You should do this. You should read. You should listen to other leaders, yada, yada." And then you're like, "I don't need to do that though. Like,
But
whatever."
I like what you said though, like, you're not gonna use her past against her to, like, maliciously unless it's for her like, for some sort of, like, benefit of growth, or not even maliciously
Well,
for
from her
growth, like,
perspective, I was like, I would
you're gonna
start,
do it for growth.
but because when you're used to being told something, this is, dude, this, there's so many that we're going off into like other realms here, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's a game in itself. That's like the
Dude, yeah,
relationship game.
dude,
It
words mean
Wild
so
Wild
much.
West.
Like words, that's biblical too. Like words are poison, or words give life. Like pick it. Like
Yeah.
before everything. Like, is this wise to say? Because if I assume that a word is either poison or it's going to give life, even if I feel like I'm being indifferent, where could it lean? Like, where could they take it? Like, where is their mindset at to where, like, even if I say, like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't just smoke and drink all the time like an idiot. Like, you feel like you're giving advice. They're getting a reminder of their bad habits and also they're an idiot. And you're really like, it's just the way you say things. But in reality, like, I hope they, try to do better. And it's like to them, it's like you're repeating probably what their like their own conscious repeats to them. Like,
Yup.
because we're our biggest enemy. And it's like, how do I change now as a leader's side of thing? Like, if I'm really trying to give advice or get through something, like, how do I put life in it instead of like, because words do that. Like, they're heavy, man. Like, I mean, to think if I've ever like jumped out of a relationship or gotten out of a relationship, it's because words, man. Like, it's sometimes a little bit of action, but the cherry on top and the real deal breaker for me was usually the words that came from whatever these fights were, all that. And then it's hard for me. I would rather be punched, man, than said some things because the bruise goes away. I fight these word battles every week for sure of what people have said. Cause then you start to tell yourself, you start to believe the critics, like you start to believe the worst. And then you get in your own bad headspace. Yada, yada, you gotta pick yourself out of it. But like, there's that for sure. But like I said, it's easier for me to tell people than it is to coach myself through it. Cause sometimes like you don't even deserve the coaching, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, sometimes you could be too close to the problem, right? And it's easier because on the outside, you might be able to see an obstacle and guide somebody around it, like coach them through it, versus you might be like right here with the problem and you just can't see any way around it. Sometimes it takes somebody telling you, "Hey, yo, take a step back
Oh
and
yeah.
walk around it." You're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and it could be a much bigger problem. We're much harsher on ourselves with that little problem than it actually is. But it does
Yeah.
take changing perspective to be able to see it. But yeah, but I told her, I'm like, okay, you didn't have a dad and you started up a couple businesses. You clearly grew a family so that obviously like you had that in you to where it's like I didn't have it. This is what I want to create. Like, and she was really worried about her kids like having some sort of like adverse effect. And I'm like, your kids also get you. Like you didn't get you growing up. Like you don't get your perspective. Like you get the lessons you learned to pour onto your kids too, so that they don't face them or they know what to do or what not to do, while also having you around because you didn't have the guidance of you either. So, but she would hold herself like, because if you're told like, oh yeah, you don't know, you didn't have a dad, like you don't know what men's advice is, blah blah, like shit like that to win an argument. It's like, except it got you to a point where you're super successful and you're a great mom. Like it's like you should appreciate your upbringing because that adversity literally made you. Like without that adversity, would you even like be where you are? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stories about professional athletes and single moms, all that stuff. It's like sometimes you need that adversity to light the fire in you to never want something different. Like or something to never want that, to go through that for your kids or your future or whatever. Like like just like celebrities have kids, they turn out fucking crazy and weird as shit. They never have to actually have to face adversity. Everything's given to them. And then they create their own problems or Hunter Biden, like whoever you want to say. You know what I mean? Like everything's given to you.
Plenty of good
So
examples.
yeah, like when you're fed with silver spoon and all that, sometimes you want to like fucking go do some off the rail shit because that's the only thrill you get because you don't have adversity in your life. Like the only thrill you get is to fucking fuck shit up. And it's like a lot of people that, but a lot of people will use their upbringing or whatever insults to like define them. It's like, oh yeah, maybe if I did have a dad, I wouldn't react like this. Maybe if I like had a better home family growing up, maybe I wouldn't be like so, like insecure, yada yada. I was like, no, well, like you're a good human. You treat humans good. Your character's good. Like that in general. Like we all have things to work on. We all got something to do to work on to grow. Like the growth journey does not have a finish line. It is a journey. Like when
It's not
you
a race, it's a
accomplish,
marathon.
yeah, man. And when you accomplish something, like something else is probably already like down the way to go to. Like if you want to start a business, like, okay, yep, start a business. Now what? Okay, we got to do $1 million. Like you
I
go, okay,
do
I got to
I do wanna touch base on, what you were saying.
yeah, man.
Not to derail the conversation too much,
No,
but just
we're
to
fine.
step in and say that sometimes even with so much adversity, sometimes you just need to acknowledge that shit was hard sometimes, and that you wouldn't wish
Yeah,
that on, like, the worst person you know, because that shit was just so incredibly hard. That's happened to
yeah,
me with a lot of things that I've been with, and the side effect of that is now I need space. Now I need to be, like I'm the only mentality that I can trust in certain moments where it's like that can get kind of heavy. So it's like, yeah, recognizing that you did so good, you needed that adversity to be able to like persevere and stuff, but also recognizing like, look, you did an incredible thing and it's all right to be exhausted, but it's not all right for you to to put yourself down because of what didn't happen. Who knows what could have happened, but that's not what's important. What's important is what is going, like what is a reality, and
yeah.
like still just working towards whatever it is. Like kind of like encourage them to move in that direction versus like what could have been. Like, cause I never knew my father, and I always tend to think like, dude, like I probably could have been like a totally different human being if I would have had my father. But the
Yeah.
thing is though, like, look at everything I got going on. Look at all the stuff that I do because this is who I am. And it's like, oh wait, hold up. Like, I guess I didn't need to know what that was like because where I'm at, I've strived for, and it wasn't easy, but like it's all right. Like, like good influence on people. I tend
Yeah.
to like my circumstances and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard, but so long as I accept that, I acknowledge it, it helps bring me peace. And then
Oh,
I can
yeah,
continue
for
moving
sure.
forward.
Yeah, and then instead of it being something that, like, feels like gave you an uphill battle, like, now you can turn it into ammo for somebody that's going through what you're going through. Like, there's no better advice that you can give anyone that, like, if you've lived it and, like, you know the struggle, then giving it to someone else that's in it. Like, it's like, "Yeah, man, I know, like, this part does suck." Like, it's like, yeah, not having that, like, father figure in your life and not having someone come to your baseball games, football games, basketball, whatever, like a single mom, kinda growing up in a small house, whatever, like, my dad was in and out, like, every few years, like, if he got a new wife, I saw him. He's married 6 times. Yeah, like, I would see
Yeah.
him, new wife, new job, new home. That's pretty much when I would see him. It's like, now I understood the pattern, and I don't hold it against him. Like I said, it's our first time, like, whatever, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you had your struggles just like I got mine, but, but at the same time, it's what I used to criticize myself about. It's like, well, maybe, yeah, if I had a dad, I would've got better grades, maybe did better in college, maybe whatever, did whatever to give myself a better jump start. But then I'm like, but man, but now it's like, yeah, I grew up in a trailer park. I don't care. Like now, if I can give
Yeah.
you perspective and help, and if I can be a good person, and I feel like I had like a little more of an uphill battle than a lot of my peers, then it's like, then what's your excuse? You know what I mean? Or if someone's going through it, it's like, hey, just it can be so much better. Like, but just like I know it's hard to appreciate the valleys, but just appreciate it now, even though it sucks when you're in it, because it's gonna give you some good perspective on the outside. And you always appreciate the journey being a little harder. Like if you are accomplishing your goals and the journey, like who can like, yeah, if I had rich parents that could pay for me to go through Harvard and get me in, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, we all see those kids like, oh yeah, that's rich kids, rich parents must be nice, yada yada. Like things are all given to them. I grant you still have to do some work, right? If you are successful, regardless. But at the end of the day, it's like there's an appreciation you can have with, yeah, I did come from the struggle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, if I can do it too, like you could, whoever, like
Absolutely.
that.
And comparison, like even in the Bible it says comparison is the thief of joy. So it's like you
Mhm.
can't compare timelines either. Right? What could have happened is just playing the what if game, and nobody ever wins the what if game. That is
Yeah,
an
there's a big
unwinnable
thing.
game.
Yeah, biblically, man, I gotta remind myself all the time to do this, all the time, because a lot of times you blame yourself, you blame like, we all get mad at God too or whatever, like, you place blame somewhere because 'cause you're just mad at whatever's happening, whatever you're doing.
Because of
Dude, it's
circumstance,
so
yeah.
important. Dude, yeah. It's so important to, like, especially when we're self-sabotagers like we are, like, I have to remind myself all the time, like, okay, instead of just saying, like, "Why me? Why is this happening? Why?" You know, if I've been faithful, if I've been obedient, like, why? Why? Instead, it's like, I can't remember what book it was, but it was like, instead ask, like, "What do you want me to do with this? If this is what I'm supposed to go through, Like, instead of why am I going through it? Like, okay, God, like, what do you want me to do with this then? Like, if there's a message here, if there's something that, like, if I'm in the will that I want to be in, wait, why am I going through divorce? Okay, well, why, am I struggling with bouncing around jobs when everything was super solid up until COVID, right? Like, what do you want me to do with this? Like, I'm not happy. I'm not where I want to be yet. Like, I can, I can be happy anywhere, but I'm just not where I want to be. I'm not as happy or fulfilled as I want to be. Like, I want to get where I want to get to. Like, what does it take? If this is what it takes, if this is what I'm supposed to go through, then what do you want me to do with it? Like, what?
Like, how do I be obedient to you in this moment? Because
Yeah, like,
obviously what I'm trying is not working out, so it must be something that you want from me, and I'm alright
yeah.
with that, because I'm tired of feeling like this, or maybe it's just, like, something that's gonna lead to me understanding what you finally want me to understand, so we can move past this mountain.
And then that thing becomes a stepping stone. That's what's nice too about like changing your perspective. Because then instead of like dwelling in it or whatever, it's like, okay, if I'm supposed to go through this, regardless how sucky it is, regardless if I still love this person, and I feel like no matter what, God was like forcing this breakup to happen no matter what, because it just wasn't right for either of us. But like, why? Like, if still feel this way, if I still feel stuck, yada yada. Like, what do you want me to do with this then? Like, what am I? If this becomes a stepping stone now to where I want to be, then all of a sudden you're more willing to go through it, or at least you're talking yourself into it. Like, instead of just sitting here, why me? I want to be, whatever, do whatever, a business owner, all that stuff. It's like, why do I keep having these ruts then, God? Like, why do I keep having these issues where I find some stability and then it gets ripped out from under me? Or if I find like a good relationship and then like some sort of turmoil happens, whether it's self sabotage or it's like something happens to me to where it's like I got to get out of it because of my own self respect, and it's clearly affecting the relationship you have and all your good habits. Like, then obviously that's not something for you. But it's like, but why do I keep? Why now? Like, why have I? I'm 34. Like, why do I not have family yet? Like, or whatever. All the mental struggles. And it's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do with this? Like, what now? Like, what if whatever your journey is, in my vision with you is like, how do I get there? If this is part of it, I'm willing to do it. And that's important. Like,
Yeah, like,
especially
how do I
late.
let your will be done in a situation where I'm just tired of getting beat up over it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah, and we're
just
supposed to,
so beat up.
and we got to praise them through it, right? Like, we're supposed to praise them through it, and then, but it's not like every disciple didn't have something. You know what I mean? Like, at least we're not all
Yeah.
David, didn't all murder somebody. Like, I guess there's that perspective too. But it's like I think of all the time of like I got this perspective brought to me like a month or so ago. Like, I was middle self sabotaging some shit. You know how it goes. Like, I'm just like in my head. I'm like, it just doesn't feel like I would deserve this. Like, blah blah. And then I get told like, you don't even get the opportunity. You're not even giving someone the opportunity to choose you. Like, before, like, you're literally
Damn.
ruining it. Yeah, like, before you're even allowed to be chosen, you feel like because you don't deserve to be the one, then you end it. Like, then you're not even allowing the other person to pick you. Like, that's but when you're a self-sabotager or whatever, you're like, whatever your past is, it's easy to, like, say you're keeping it back there, but then it's like, all that shit adds up to where it's like, "Yeah, maybe I don't deserve this now until I'm at a certain point." It's like, except that they didn't care about that.
You
They don't
know,
care about where you're at. They care about who you are. Like,
this
so
this reminds me of that grace conversation where it's like, I don't deserve your, like, why me? Like, I know I don't deserve this, and it's like, of course you don't deserve this, but, like, it's my grace. It's my grace that
yeah.
gives you this. Even though, like, even if something good does happen to me, even sometimes I'm like, "I don't deserve this." Right? And it's like, "Of course." Like, it's so long as you acknowledge that you don't, but this is still my grace. Like, I'm giving it to you. And it's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I get it," like, because like, sometimes you're in bad situations, like, you might not deserve that. God might be like, "You don't deserve that," but because of my grace, like, I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna use it, for good. And you're like,
yeah,
"Oh, dang, like, there is a bigger meaning here, a bigger message that I might not even have access to, I can't really resonate with because I can't really tap into, like, the state of
but I
mind that."
spoke to it. It takes the
Yeah,
journey sometimes to figure out exactly, like, part of what the stuff we get through in the journey
20
after
years
we're
later,
through.
you're like, "Oh, that's what, oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay, I get it, I get it."
I I mean, dude, I still feel like to this day, like, I was never supposed to be with my wife long term, right? Like, I know I'm supposed to go through that relationship, yada, yada, but I feel like it was specifically to meet her brother-in-law. I literally feel like I was supposed to meet her, have this whole decade-long thing because I was supposed to experience her brother-in-law who taught me a lot about how to be close to God and how to raise a family, yada yada, without telling me. You're just living it. Like I was seeing Jesus work through him without even getting the lesson from him. Like the lesson was just watching and just being around it. I feel like I was literally supposed to experience that. Like I took more out of knowing him than I did like being in a relationship for 8 years with somebody and then failing after we get married. Like I take more lessons but there's some solace and peace of mind like in, okay, if I was supposed to go through that to witness him so that I knew exactly what it was like. Cause when you don't have a dad or a dad in and out, like you don't exactly get like a personal in-house experience of like what it's supposed to look like to raise kids without being the kid. So it's like, you know, I was an uncle at like freaking 16. So it's not like I saw my in a wise man's role how, you know, people should raise kids until I met him as an adult and then I saw him raise like a family of 5, all that stuff. And I'm like, on the outside looking in after you're way past the journey and you look back, you're like, oh, there was probably a plan from God there. That was like, oh yeah, he's gonna teach you're gonna learn a lot of lessons in this relationship. And it's not gonna be because of who you're with. It's gonna be because of like who their family is. And I just need you to witness some of this stuff so that you know like between like teaching how to pray or like how to try to witness God or activate God or like have Jesus like without even bringing him up. Like how to get Jesus seen through you without even saying his name. Like
One of my
send the
favorite one
example.
one of my favorite things to do in moments like that after I crash out is to look up at
Yeah.
God and be like, I'm glad I didn't overreact.
Dude, yeah. It's like
Because I just
yeah,
crashed
right.
the hell out about it, but like then God made it okay, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm
Dude,
glad I
and
didn't
I
know."
hope I've definitely dude, I've had my stints where I'm mad, like, and I react, you know, because 'cause I'm like, "It doesn't matter what the fuck I do, I'm gonna end up in some fucking shit anyway, so I might as well just have fun," which is usually a lot of sin when we think about shit like that. I might as well just have fun while I fucking, you know, am dealing with it, and all you're really doing is, like, gonna make yourself more mad at yourself and create your own, like, more mental struggles because there's when you're, like, a faith man, there's, like, real ties and shit to like, you can't just be some fucking douchey man whore because you're mad at your relationship history and then think like you're gonna come out on the other end of that and feel worthy of like a wife then, right? Because it's like, what? I haven't acted like a husband in forever. Like, why the fuck would I deserve someone to act like a wife? And then you start. That's where self sabotage comes in. Yada yada. Like you start thinking of what you deserve, all that instead of like God telling you what you deserve.
Yeah, it's like the
And then,
desires of the flesh versus the desires of the heart. God will put the desires of your heart in you for you versus the desires of your flesh will never ever satiate what it is that you're truly like yearning for, you know?
dude, and yeah, there's a pastor I listened to a long time ago. He just reminded me. It's like freedom to sin is not freedom. There's so many dude, so many relationships, like, because single life looks so glamorous or fun or whatever. Like, yeah, you have more control of your life. That doesn't mean you got more control of your fucking head. Like, I'll tell you one thing, like, I don't know when everyone else gets in their head, but when I'm alone is usually when I'm the most in my head. Like, I'm a lot less in my head when I'm in a relationship with somebody. Um, because you actually have someone that's there, whether good or not, like, you actually at least have someone there to share some problems with, especially if you're under the same roof, whatever. But, like, when I'm alone and shit, like, especially after you're alone because you've done some because you're the cause of it, it's a lot easier to get in your head there and be your own enemy to
Start
where,
spiraling.
dude, and to get out of it's way worse. Yeah, so it's like, um, yeah, man, it's like it's tough. Like it's fucking but when you're like good at self-sabotaging, like that, you end up
We're pros
dude,
at
yeah, like
self-sabotaging.
it's so annoying, man, because it's like you'll have a good thing in front of you, but you'll ruin it regardless of what it does.
Yeah,
Because
just like, oh, what's her name? I miss her. I should call her. No, I'm just kidding.
mm,
But like, I was just thinking about this today, where I was like, have you ever been in the state of mind where you're like, honestly, I'm thinking about this person. I want to reach out, but it's probably better for them if I don't, just because I just can't get my shit together. Like, I wouldn't even want to derail what they got going on just by, you know, like basically like approaching and confusing whatever progress. Like, it's just better if I don't, right? And that's
yeah,
kept
are
me
you
out
meaning
of a
like
lot of
somebody you've been with?
relationships.
If I are, is this like for somebody you've been with, or somebody like say you're dating or whatever, and you don't want to get more involved, whatever? Like, what's
Both,
your
like, because like my intentions are very important to me. But like there's been times where I'm literally just thinking lustfully and I'm looking at this beautiful woman. She's in, she's like got
attraction's
everything.
important? Well, like, it is important, though, like, it's important to,
Yeah.
like, at least have it for sure, like, it'll make
Yeah.
things a lot easier. You'll if you have a connection with somebody at first and it's because you had a good conversation, but they don't seem like somebody that, you know, would be a fit attraction-wise with you, you're gonna face, like I don't know if you've done it, but I've definitely been with nice girls and stayed with nice girls. They weren't ugly or whatever, they just whether I have a type or a preference, whatever it was, but I knew it immediately. I knew it,
I
and I
think
tried to
that
overthrow square peg in a round hole because of I thought that's what I thought that's might be what I needed, right? Like, I'm like, "Maybe I just need, like, a nice, whatever, girl that's, like, got all her shit put together, like, maybe it'll that's what I need in life. It just feels right, right?" And it's like, but you're bringing struggles into a relationship because there's a attraction issue there to where it's like you're creating your own mental problems and problems in this relationship where you can't even feel as vested because you knew this was gonna happen. Like, you knew I've done it a couple times, not in a relationship, just dating to where or I've, like, been emotionally unavailable and started seeing someone, like, in a serious matter, like, for sure, and that created a lot of problems and all that stuff, like, you might think you're emotionally available or whatever, but, like, you really gotta keep yourself in check and, like, seek for sure the right guidance and wisdom to actually be emotionally available for someone if that's what you're ready for.
I think
So
what I was more referring to is, like, sometimes, like, I might see myself with the person, like, like, I'll see myself with a girl, whatever girl I'm looking at, right? And I'm like,
yeah,
"Yo, this person, for whatever reason, seems like she's doing it for me." So, I know myself well enough to know that, like, at some whatever particular time I was in my head, where I was like, I would just be wasting her time. I'm not looking for what she's looking for. She's looking for something serious. I'm not looking for something serious. And then you're like, let's see what happens. And then you just completely like things derail, the situation goes wrong, and you're like, I I could have just gotten by. She would have just been better off if I would have just said hey and kept it pushing. Right? Like I
dude,
literally just impacted her life for no reason.
yeah, man. Yeah, I'm assuming you probably went through it. I hope you haven't, but if you have, man, I went through it too. That's just
Yeah, that's why I'm
the
bringing it up is because I've done that, like, several times, so now when I'm thinking about, like, even pursuing somebody, like, my intentions really matter to me. Also, like, I have to analyze the person. There's, like, a lot of, like, criteria that I have now that I just didn't have when I was younger. Because obviously you're
dude.
younger and you're thinking what I mean? You're
Little
thinking with your little brain.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Especially, and it might take some experiences for you to understand the difference between like you just being really attracted to somebody and you like seeing a future with someone. 'Cause we will force the issue if we are attracted enough.
Oh, I'm
Like, and I think,
delusional. I see a future with everybody.
dude, yeah, I could, I, dude, I do the same stuff. Like when, especially when I'm like, it seems like it's easier for me if I'm right out of a relationship to start like immediately seeing like, oh yeah, okay, like I'm at Costco and I'm like, oh yeah, she's buying a whole lot of shit. Like she likes cooking. Obviously, she's buying a whole lot of fucking
That
meat.
could
I
be wifey material,
like,
yeah.
yeah, like I bet makes a nice steak. Oh yeah, no, it's like, but dude, lust is a real. I mean, biblically, like lust is like the man's struggle. Like it's the man's like if there's an empire that dies, lust has something to do with it.
Solomon.
Like, dude, yeah, like everyone, like I mean, David, like,
Yep,
like
Bethesda,
so
yep.
like everyone talks about the Goliath thing. They forget like David was kind of a piece of shit for a
No,
second. Like God still used him.
Bathsheba, I'm sorry, I said
Yeah,
Bethesda,
like
Bathsheba.
kill the guy. Like kill the whole guy married, by the way, to bang his wife. Like that's that. But that guy, there's two good points there. Like yeah, that lust can really fuck you up. Doesn't mean you're unforgivable. Like God still used David. Like, so it also means like no matter what you've been through, what you've done, doesn't mean it has to be who you are. Like, you can change now. Like you can change right now. If you want to be something different, it doesn't mean there's not going to be work involved. But if you are mad about something that you do or habitually or something you struggle with, like even if it's like a real addiction as far as like drugs, like you, some of that changes might require help from some outside sources or whatever. Like that's okay, but you can do it now. Like you can do it now. Like you can fix it. It's hard. Like habits are hard. But yeah, man, it's like, but it also means you're also not unforgivable. And like I say it all the time because there's a lot of pastors I listen to and stuff like that. And that I've talked to my family, they're like, well, they just thought they were too far gone. Like they didn't want to be around that type of stuff, yada yada. I was like, man, I'd hate for them to be introduced to David. Like I'd hate for that. Like, every disciple had, like, an issue, had some sort of, whether it was a trust, faith, or lust issue, like, every single disciple, but they all went through something. So it just means, like, you can be used. Like, God's will for you does not, like, it will interrupt you. You won't interrupt it. Like, it will interrupt you. So, dude, and lust is like a big demon, man. Like, it is tough because lust will make you, like, it will make you create promises that you never wanted to actually do, agree to.
Yeah,
But
and
because,
one
like, you want to keep that person around, whether you don't take them seriously or you don't want to, like, you don't actually see them somebody long term, or you just, you couldn't handle their life. Like, they could be two put together too. They could be a mom or whatever. You might think you're ready to be a stepdad, whatever the case. And you might think, like, I want this to continue. I want this weekend thing to continue. I'll continue agreeing to things and saying the right things and sounding the right way and seeming the right way, knowing I'll probably be out the door anyways. It probably won't work, but it's fun now. Like, it's fun now. But you'll start making promises that you were never wanted to actually commit to. And
also
then when
you
you're in, you start to feel like, dude, guilt and lust are like two really good. They usually come hand in hand, like, sadly, because usually lust will lead you to some fucking guilt,
but
and guilt might
also
keep you somewhere you don't want to be too.
but also, like, you can get the lust, you can literally have the relationship, you can, I hate to be vulgar, you could get the sex, right? You could be with the person, whatever, and it's
Yeah,
still not satisfy. You could be completely miserable. You could be getting everything that you think you want in that
dude.
moment, but it doesn't really satisfy anything.
Dude, I was the most depressed when I had the most money in the bank, and I was, like, on a disgusting rotation of women. I'm talking, like, 8 a month, like, 8, whether they were the same or a couple interchange or whatever, like, I was getting what I wanted, I was working the least and making the most money, and I had the most simple life. But I was probably the most depressed. Like, if I didn't have a couple dogs, man, I don't know if I would prod myself out of bed. Like, but on the outside looking in, you would have thought TJ was living like a super bachelor. Like, I was probably looking like the coolest fucking dude on the street. But in reality, I, like, had struggle sleeping. Like, I couldn't stay asleep for a long time. And when I did sleep, I damn sure didn't want to wake up. I damn sure did not want to wake up, find motivation to do shit. Like, one thing that I've been consistent with my whole life is the gym, but it's even when that starts to go awry and shit, like your really good habits, like your staples of, like, what make you you, when that shit starts to go awry, then you start to really recognize, like, damn, I actually do have an issue. Like, and I'm trying to fill a hole here. Like, I wasn't fulfilled, obviously, like, having the most fun, like, a lot of people were jealous of my life, whatever. And I'm like, like, I wasn't braggadocious or whatever. I just talked a lot because I also didn't have, like, many people to talk to that took me seriously because of what I was doing. So,
Oh, yeah,
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 man, like,
that's also a thing, everybody. That's also a real life thing.
dude, yeah, it's like, if yeah, nobody's gonna wanna come to you for your advice if they're, like, trying to move up in life and you're just like fucking the bachelor guy that's travels the storms and bangs girls in different states and then comes back. Like, who the fuck? Okay, yeah, I'll ask you when I'm single how to pick up a girl. That's pretty much the extent of what you're gonna get, and I'll be able to give that advice for sure.
Yeah,
But
but and then, like, even in those
it's
even in
realism, man. It's
those
like,
conversations, you can literally look at somebody and be like, "Yeah, I don't wanna be like that."
dude, yeah, for sure. I look at him. Shit. I wish I had his bank account now, but I still, like,
I wouldn't wanna be him.
dude, yeah, but exactly. Like, I don't wanna wear those shoes again. No, like, and after, dude, and once you're out of it looking in, you're like, damn, I was real, because in those interactions, like, that's your headspace. That's probably not the headspace, or usually not the headspace of whoever you're attracting, because usually they see through it. Like, usually, like, if you're hoeing around, like, the hoes probably see that you're a hoe and they're playing the same game. They don't want to play with somebody. So it's like they see through it. They see the whole act. Like, usually there was plenty of times with people looking for something deeper. And I was an honest asshole. I would tell them, like, I'm not looking for anything. I hope you know this is what it is. But, like, down, you're like, oh, yeah, they got their feelings involved. But you try to act like you don't care. But you're really affecting people's lives and, like, their hopes and all that stuff. And you're affecting your own, by the way, because then guess what? When you meet somebody you feel like you don't deserve, why do you not feel like you deserve them? Oh,
Because
because
you
you
did
played
that
30.
person wrong. Yeah, yeah, you did that person
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, because you've crossed paths with good people like this before and, like, fucked them up, even though you were a different headspace. Like, but you feel like because you did that, because you were that person, because you were going through that season, that you don't deserve the one in front of you or whatever, the one that's trying to give you an opportunity because of what you've done before or what you've been or what someone else defined you as. It's like, Dude, it's
Yeah.
a real battle. That's the guilt. That's the starts with the lust, comes with the guilt. Like it's a, and if you can control that, then I mean that's the you're. I mean you're moving like you're ahead of whatever you want to do in life because that lust thing's expensive. Like it
Woo.
takes time, it takes money. Like that shit takes effort. Like it takes attention. Like it's dude, it is an expensive lesson. Like lust is an expensive ass lesson,
So,
and it
not
continues
to
for a long
cut you off,
time.
brother, but I
Yeah,
did
man,
want to say
good.
that you know, we're getting short on time. So if you could
Oh,
just
good.
do a like because this is obviously going to be viewed later on for until YouTube no longer works or whatever, right? Like
Yeah, good point.
how would you say how would you recap the most important parts of this conversation to you?
Let me see. I think like dude, I think a lot of it that we've touched base on, a lot of relationship management stuff, which takes a lot of like accountability, self reflection, and like recognizing patterns, like you said, and issues. And then like on a growth side of it, like, okay, then like even if it's somewhere where we feel like we didn't deserve to be, don't want to be, whatever, like, what do you want me to do with this? And then also like headspace. Like we know what it's like to be in the wrong headspace and what comes from it. And like that self talk's huge, man. Like that self talk, that sabotage, whatever, that stuff is so big. Like words give life, whether it's your, and you're telling yourself, like what you tell yourself too becomes like what you believe. So like you better fucking support you. Like you might not be your best friend all the time, but you better start saying the words. Like just get used to saying it, even if you're not feeling it. That's what love is, right? Like that's also the definition of love. Like it's like you, it's not a feeling. It's like what you choose to do even when you don't feel like it. Like love's an action. So like you're not gonna get anybody to love you, or you're not gonna be able to love anybody right unless you love yourself right. And if that just takes going through the motions, even when you don't feel like doing it, like those words really do have a major, major effect on things for sure. I think if I could define the, I mean, we went on a couple basics like and topics on this one, but like, I think if we could recap this is probably that, like, get your mental headspace right. Like, words are important to you or to other people. That helps you manage relationships. That helps you grow. And it's going to take some uncomfortable things to be involved in for you to want to grow too. Like, I think we've touched like a lot of that, but that's probably the synopsis of every story and stuff that we told was that. And just be nice, man. Like, be nice to yourself too. Shit,
Yeah,
like,
that part. Love
we're
yourself,
not,
be nice to yourself cuz you don't like you said earlier, this is our first time at this, you know?
dude. You only get one. You get one of these, and it goes quick. Like, I'm 34. How old are you, Richie?
32.
Yeah, man. Like, so 34, 32. Like this, and I feel like from 26 to now, man, is a flash,
It's a beast.
dude. Yeah, like it went quick. Like a lot of lessons, like a lot of growth. But dude, it goes. It seems like it goes faster the longer you get into this thing. And like, if 26 to now goes quick, that means 40 is fucking coming up. So I don't want to be in the same, place or same mindset or same relationships wise. Like I want to at least learn from my lessons and be building something by the time I'm 40 instead of constantly feel like I'm learning lessons for sure. But dude, self-talk and like being kind to yourself, man, is important. Even if you gotta fake it. Shit, who cares? Like
Yeah.
we've been faking random strangers that probably could have murdered us on a different event. You know what I mean? Like we might have crossed Ted Bundy a couple times and waved bye, said have a good day, whatever. Like just if we're willing to do that for a stranger, like, damn, and just be nice to you before you go to bed and when you wake up so that you're not anticipating bad things and creating them because sabotage your life. Shit. Damn, just yeah, like headspace is important, man. And it kind of like, a lot of problems and solutions come from there. So I think a lot of that. I think next time we could dive into something like
Yeah.
more honed in instead of like off the cuff. But yeah, man, that's like I feel like that's the synopsis. What about you?
I would say that you definitely hit the nail on the head by saying that you know, like there's a couple things that I'm gonna take away from this, but this is just kind of like you know what I'd like to recap it is
Yeah,
like
man.
look, no matter if it's at work, if you're in a relationship, right, or if you're just struggling with some of your own desires and stuff, like get familiar with what it is that you know, like the intentions, the environment, start to understand what you really want from situations, but also like don't give yourself a hard time if you don't have all the answers initially, right? Sometimes we do need a process. We need to digest certain things,
Oh,
in
yeah,
little bites versus the whole steak right there in one mouthful, right?
for
That's
sure.
okay. And if you're dealing with a partner, if you're dealing by yourself, like it's all right. It's gonna be all right because it might just be part of God's plan. You might be feeling like you're, undeserving of a situation, or you might be feeling like, what I mean, you do deserve a situation, but you still shouldn't give yourself a hard time about it. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's all right to
Well,
grow. It's all right to let things go and move
grow
forward.
through it. Like you said, grow through it. Yeah, it's like
Even when it
yeah,
hurts.
yeah, yeah, usually that's when, like, the most shit man, usually, like, when rock bottom's there and, like, the only way is up, that's normally when, like, the fuck it part happens. We're like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll just like, let's just fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll do therapy. I'll finally start reading again. I'll finally start digging in the Bible, all that, because I got not shit else to rely on now. Like, only way is up. Like, all right, I'm not gonna sit here and sulk, like, because at some point you do choose it. Like, you can choose to like, I have a buddy that was going through a split up, recently, and I was like and he's like, "So if you don't hear from me, just know that's why, like, you just know that's what" different friend, this one, in the group chat, he's like, "So if you don't hear from me, that's why, like, you guys don't hear from me." I'm like, "Hey, it's fine, like, it's like, you need to isolate to get your head right, to get everything organized and together, that's fine. You can visit there, man, don't live there, though. Like, don't live there, because then you're don't choose it. Like, choose to go through it, don't choose to stay in it. Like, they're 2 different things, or 2 different actions, like, so, like, when you need to vent and reach out for help, do it, man, do it. Don't hold that shit in, don't just talk to yourself, because at some point, like, that battle is gonna be strong, and that's not, an animal we all wanna face at all. Like, I don't wanna take my own self-advice all the damn time for sure. But, like, if you could give somebody, like after you gave the synopsis of this conversation, if somebody was like, "Okay, action plan from this," you know, if they're struggling through whatever the relationship things, the work things, the friendship things, you give them like 3 to 5 steps, whatever, what would you say?
I
"Oh,
think
yeah, we're
that
going through relationship issues now. I fucking can't communicate, we can't talk, like,
yeah.
everything's at heads."
I would think
What would you
that like look, so in a situation, because like there's a lot of different variables, life gets complex sometimes, but I would say just understanding the sources involved, like the other person, understanding, like it could be the job, just understanding what role that person or thing plays on you, understanding the playing field, which is like the environment, and
Yeah,
just, recognizing the impact it's having on you and what you would like to gain from it. Like you said earlier, it's you can't be stuck in a relationship where if you communicating about a thing is the straw that broke the camel's back, you probably weren't meant to be there, or at least for very
yeah,
long or anymore. But like I would say, just continue to like take these things and monitor them, but also know when things just aren't too deep. Like things don't have to be too deep every time.
yeah,
Sometimes you can just learn to let up on the reins a little bit and trust God. Because sometimes,
yeah,
like you said, like you might end up trying everything but trusting God. And then you're so beat down to the point to where you're just like, I might as well see what it is that because like it ain't working out, right? Like it's just now let's do the therapy. Now let's put in the work that you wanted me to do to begin with, but my bad, I was just a little stubborn.
yeah, no, I'm with you. I think, like, for sure, it that I think I started on the topic earlier, but, like, if I could tell people what to go away with, like, okay, like, obviously, if you're going through something alone, whatever, then okay, then what ask God, "What am I supposed to do with this?" Instead of just fucking blaming or whatever, trying to find why. Sometimes we don't know why until way later on. Like, we don't know why we're going through something, or why this arrived to us, why we did what we did, or why what happened to us. But just instead of just placing blame and trying to figure that out, just say, "All right, well, what do you want me to do with this? I assume this is what you're supposed to go through, and what do you want me God to do with this?" And then, like, what you resist persists. Like, all right, what are you, like, pushing off, putting off, avoiding, like, shelving, like, whether it's yourself or, like, your own goals or relationship issues or traumas or whatever that affects you or affects the relationship. What are you putting off? Like, what are you resisting that's gonna persist? And can you get a rein on that now? Like, if you can get some stuff solved now, even if you don't wanna look at it, then, like, go against the grain, like, choose to stop resisting it because it's not gonna go away unless you go through it. But
I hear
that,
that.
and with trusting God, man, sometimes you don't get the whole this is a perspective that got brought to me a few weeks like, maybe a month ago now, where it's like when Peter and John were in the boat, during the storm and Jesus was sleeping, and then they're complaining about the storm, Jesus is sleeping through it, right? Whatever. Uh, and then they're like, "Why is it storming? Blah, blah. God, wake up. Jesus, wake up. Like, this storm, yada, yada." He's like, "You little thing. Like, what do you got? I'm in the boat with you. I'm literally in this boat with you. And you're over here. You can't even look at me. You're looking at the storm. All your focus are on the storm. The storm ain't going to go away. Like, because you're just looking at it. I'm literally in the boat with you until you finally look to me to get some damn relief or answers or direction. And even when you're looking at me, you're still complaining about the storm. Like, I'm here. Like, I literally am the creator of the storm, and I'm here with you while you go through it. Just gotta look. And sometimes we don't see the the end of the journey or the whole journey or whatever. We just see the next step. Just like when he got out of the boat and told Peter, like, step out. Like Peter's like, we were just in a storm. Now you're asking me to step out on water because I just watch you walk on water. What the hell do you mean? Like, what? Like, I've always, like, made a joke in there. I'm like, I'm glad I would wanna be John. I'm glad he's asking you. Step out there. Go
He
ahead.
ain't asking me, but I know he loves me the most.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's like but all Peter knew was the next step. He didn't know why or when or for or what. He just knew what the next thing to do was. Just do the next thing. Sometimes looking at the whole picture of things and trying to figure everything out will prevent you from even doing the next thing. Because whether you're like over analysis paralysis or like you feel like you need why or you need more answers before you do it, sometimes you just won't get it. Sometimes you're just supposed to just do the next thing that feels right. Like, what's the next righteous thing? Like, maybe not, you know, look at like lustful TikToks or whatever. Maybe not like, continue whatever, going drinking every weekend with your buddies. Maybe not that. Maybe not like, like maybe not whatever being told to your wife when you're in the middle of a fight when she comes home or whatever, because your ego's involved. Maybe like, you know, just do the next thing that's righteous, even if you don't have like the whole plan or the next few steps or whatever. Sometimes God just gives you the next one. And then just focus on him. I understand like if you're in his will and this is what you're supposed to go through and what you're supposed to do with it, then like do the next step then. Just trust like that. Yeah, if you trust God, then trust the next step, even if you don't see the whole vision. Um, and you'll learn along the way, but at least get a little closer. Just get a little bit better. Like, just get a little better. Fix something. Just do something better. And that's when Peter stepped out, and then he started to sink the second he took his eyes off God. It's like, yeah, well, it's probably a lesson on life there. It's probably like it's stepping out of the boat was Peter's growth. Comfort was probably the boat. Like, and then it got uncomfortable in that boat because why? Because needed some growth to look to God, take a step out of the boat. Like, it's like a lot of lessons that you can take in life, and it's like, damn, okay, yeah. Well, if I'm in the boat and God created the storm, and all I've been doing is looking at the storm, man. Like, okay, well, he's in the boat with me still. Like, it's not like there's ever a point where we're not gonna surprise God with a problem. So, uh, I think, I think that's if I were to give someone guidance, it's like, yeah, just that. Just okay, what am I supposed to do with it? What you resist, persist. Stop resisting it. Like that could be the next step too. Stop resisting it. Like, stop resisting what you know you're supposed to file your taxes because you're 2 years late. Whatever. Okay, if you're supposed to like pay a credit card bill you've been putting off for a couple months, whatever. You're supposed to like you've been wanting to bring this problem up that has been bothering your wife or spouse or girlfriend, whatever. But you've been avoiding it because you don't want to fix whatever. But it's been itching at her, and she's just been walking on eggshells around it. Yeah, maybe solve it. Do what you don't want to do, like, but if it's the right thing to do, then just take that next step. Do it. Who cares? Maybe if you've been wanting, you know, lose weight or whatever, want to go to the gym, whatever. Maybe if you can't go to the gym, go and walk. Like, just do the next step. Like, just get a little better. Like, whatever it is, read more. Read the Bible a little bit more. That's probably if there's any like super super like easy next step. If somebody's confused on the next one, okay, just read the Bible. Help that. Like, try there. Like, try there. Like, as the next step. Like, and I'm sure you'll find some answers. Like, start New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, whatever.
Got
But
you.
that's what if I were to give direction after the synopsis of this, that's where I would go.
I totally agree with you. So that's where I have to call it for now.
Yeah, man.
But it's been a pleasure, brother, keeping you on the podcast. And next time we will dig in a little deeper on some of these other topics,
Yeah, I'll
right?
pick some topics instead of,
You know, I
you know,
think
off
this is
I like off the cuff, but
it,
we
it's
can hone
it,
in.
it's fun, but like sometimes, cause like I really feel like, and you'll see it the more and more we do these podcasts, like you'll really like you'll share a short or something you say, or somebody might be like, "Yo, like I was really thinking about that thing you said," and you don't realize the impact that it has on you. So like,
Yeah.
or that it has on other people. So
Oh,
next time
yeah,
we will dig a
sure.
little deeper. But for right now, thank you for coming on the show. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I
And
appreciate you.
I'll and anytime, brother, anytime you want to get on a cast, just let me know, and I got you. All right, then, brothers. It's all good. So we'll touch base later, brother. But I love you. Be safe and God bless you. All right, later.